Good evening. Saturday night, Modern Comic Mayhem. We got a great show for you guys coming up. We've got Tony from EGS. We've got our buddies from Hive coming on. We've got grading talk, Loki talk, all kinds of talk here for a good time. And we've always got a top five. Brian, cue the music. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
What's going on?
Welcome. Come on, Phoenix Suns. Don't crap the bet on us now.
What's going on, guys?
I don't know how you blow a 16-point lead in 5 minutes, but
I don't know. We'll ask the Phoenix Suns later.
yeah, after they go crazy, everybody in Phoenix riots.
So welcome, everybody coming in.
We're gonna have a bunch of Suns and Six guys.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know what? It's tied. I started. This is pretty much game one. Now it's going to be a best of three because it's tied, but whatever. But we got a pretty good show tonight. I think somewhat the next half hour. I think Hive should be. Our friends at Hive Comics should be showing up. They've got some pretty good exclusives that I think they want to show off and brag about because that's just what they know how to do. We got Tony from EGS coming, so we're going to talk about EGS, some grading. I'm kind of excited for that. To see the little guy come in and try to
knock off the big dog.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's good for the industry.
Yeah, competition is always a good thing. Always.
Absolutely. Make sure the others don't start slacking on us.
That's what was the excitement of CBCS in the beginning.
It's funny because you got talking about that. I was at a shop today, and a guy came in to pick up a book, and he said, "Yeah, I heard him talking with the shop owner saying, I finally got my CGC books back, and it took like 7 months just to get these books back." And the shop owner's like, "Hey, CBCS is waiting for your money. All you got to do is let me know." And it made me think and he started telling the guy, he's like, CBCS is like 2 weeks for turnaround time. They're cheaper. They grade really well. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I know, but that 20% extra money that if I decide to sell these is a big deal." And I'm like, "Hey, can't blame them." So
when I get
competition will close that gap though eventually.
We'll see.
Is that the difference between the two of them? You get 20% more if you get it graded by CGC?
20 to 50, if not more. I mean, we pulled up a book the other day on Flipside that was the first appearance of Mr. Mobius or Mobius and Mobius. Fantastic Four, I forget what number. But in a CGC 9.8, it's like 500 and something, I think. And in a CBCS, it's like 200, 250.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy. It was bonkers. So, and the norm is I think the norm they say is about 20%.
I think it's crazy.
I see the chat's already exploding on the grading talk. Before we started.
I think everyone's excited. So, yeah, I'm glad. Another shout out to Hartman from Hartman Sports Cards, man. I like chatting with him on Instagram. He hits me up with some pretty cool stuff. We were talking, grading cards, and we were talking about grading and stuff. So big shout out to him. I really like it when you guys reach out and bullshit with me. I think it's cool. I appreciate it. So
yeah, no water chestnuts. What's up with that?
Did somebody order Chinese food? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I was just informed in the chat by my wife that they didn't have the water chestnuts I needed. This is
you never buying from them again.
It's our favorite place, so
no more chow mein from them ever again. It's funny you guys are talking about the Suns. All the games that they had lost in the playoffs, I watched. And I was like, maybe I'm the jinx, right? And so I started this Jinx campaign to try and get more subscribers to my dodgeball channel, and then they lost one I didn't watch anyway. So it's like, okay, it's not me, it's Chris Paul. It's not my fault. It's Chris Paul's fault.
Yeah. The dude is cursed.
Has anybody even seen a Halo graded comic in person?
Never even heard of it.
They're only Australian. It's only in Australia, I believe. Halo's just Australia. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Even more reason to get it. Get it from down under.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys that won a giveaway the other day, it was from Australia, and I'm gonna have to contact him and be like, "Hey, bro, I'm sorry, man, but I'm not. I just got done having to ship to Canada like 3 times. Somebody won from Singapore. Thank God I didn't have to pay for that one, but I can't. I'm not gonna ship to Australia. So, like, for now on, anytime you win a giveaway on this channel, just remember that you probably should be living in the United States if you plan on getting that book. So." Shit's way too expensive, man.
How much do you think a CBCS red label drops down? The percentage.
What do you mean? I don't know if about that. I think the red labels. I don't understand why people wouldn't want the red labels. It just means it wasn't seen in person. It means it's verified. So I haven't.
What is the red label again?
That means they verified it, but it wasn't done in person. When
they use the digital verification system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think EGS does that too, so we can ask Tony about that.
Yeah. So, what's on the docket to get us started? Ish, what would you like to
How about we start off with some Star Trek news?
Star Trek news. Brian's favorite.
Well, I mean, other than the Picard Season 2 trailer that we got a couple weeks ago, it's been pretty quiet on the Star Trek front.
That's it for Star Trek news?
What's going on? Are you going to pull up the... Do we have something to... The news was that we are getting another movie. And it is to be directed by the director of WandaVision, Adam Shankman. This is officially confirmed. Who, by the way, just got nominated for an Emmy Award for directing WandaVision. So we have an Emmy-nominated director taking over the new Star Trek movie. And apparently the screenplay, is to be written by the screenwriter of Captain Marvel.
That's going to be.
So I don't know how you guys feel about all that. It has not been officially confirmed, though it is assumed that it's taking place in the Kelvin timeline, which we also refer to as JJ Trek.
Right.
Yeah. It's all garbage to me.
It's all garbage.
I'm kind of with you there, Brian. I'm not a big fan of the JJ Trek movies, but I am that big of a Star Trek fan that I'm not going to just ignore it.
Just remember, if
it's almost begrudgingly. I'm always hopeful. Maybe the next one's the one that's good. Who knows?
You didn't like the first one? You didn't like the first one with Chris Pine?
No, not so much.
I thought it was badass.
There are elements about it I liked. Chris Pine being one as Kirk, but there's a lot that I just and then it just got worse.
What about Into Darkness?
Oh,
kind of
that
silly.
Movie is just.
My name
that's
is
an aberration.
Khan. That was kind of silly.
Yeah,
really silly.
And we covered that in the previous episode where you said, who cares what his name is? That means nothing to anyone in their fictional reality.
Right.
Doctor Strange, he played it pretty well.
Yeah, except for that one moment was so silly. What about Beyond? Beyond was a mess. Beyond was okay, but it was also so cookie cutter. Again. The weapon, the villain, the plot points, all identical from the previous 2 movies. Yeah, they even brought back the Beastie Boys, right? Yes, they did. Actually, the Beastie Boys saved the galaxy. That's right. They sure did.
Well, they are.
Which reminded me of the ending of Mars Attacks. So when your climax rivals the climactic plot point of Tim Burton's Mars Attacks, it's kind of hard to take your movie seriously.
Yeah.
All the aliens' heads explode in their fish bowls because they can't stand today's music.
Correct.
These kids today.
In the context of the Star Trek, they can't stand. They all have music your grandpa listened to.
Yeah, we all hate classical.
Now, the other thing about this movie, I guess, interesting to note that it's not been confirmed. Though it was like about a couple years ago when they said they're bringing back George Kirk, Captain Kirk's father, played by Chris Hemsworth, and at that time, there was talk that Hemsworth was on board, Pine was on board, blah blah blah. Fast forward 2 years later, so far only really Chris Pine is, I guess, officially committed to the new project. So we don't know if they're going with that storyline of George Kirk coming back.
Yeah, if they do bring back George Kirk, they'll need a skinnier body double that they can put Chris Hemsworth's face on, because he's going to be too
so
jacked
buff.
to play a Starfleet captain. He's just going to be so yoked.
It is when you see him in that first Star Trek movie. He kind of does look a little different. You can see it's like he becomes Thor.
He's a little scrawny in it.
He's kind of like a dad bod more than an Asgardian god.
There's nothing wrong with the dad bod.
Yeah, he among us who does not have a dad bod, let him be the first to cast the stone.
Yes.
Well,
So,
I did enjoy the first one. I did not enjoy Into Darkness or Beyond. So I kind of.
I know plenty of people who love those movies, and they're old school diehard Star Trek fans, and they love the new stuff. And I know fans who just love the new stuff and can't even stand a minute of the old stuff. So it runs the gamut.
Yeah.
I guess I begrudgingly accept them, and like I said earlier, I always hope that the next one is going to be the one that appeals to me. But
of the old stuff, what does appeal to you?
I loved TOS, the original series.
Yeah,
I've gone through all 3 seasons probably about 3 times. Really sitting down, really watching them, and I just love it. Right now, we're in a rewatch of The Next Generation. It's kind of been taking us several years, and we've got to season 4. And a lot of these episodes I haven't seen in 30 years. I haven't seen since they originally aired. So that's been fun to revisit. And then hopefully by the time we finish that, they'll have remastered Deep Space Nine, and then we could jump into that.
Of the movies, which do you like any of them? Or, which is your favorite?
Definitely, I grew up on the original movies. So I saw The Wrath of Khan when I was 7 years old in the original IMAX theater in Toronto, Ontario.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I went with my uncle who was visiting. My mom's cousin was visiting from Hungary. He didn't speak a lick of English, and we went, the 2 of us. I'm a little kid. He's this foreigner who doesn't speak English, and we still walked out of that movie with our jaws dropped, like, wow, this was amazing. And I was hooked ever since.
Yeah, I think my first theater Trek experience was the one with the whales.
Okay.
That was the first one I ever saw in theaters.
That was a huge hit that year. That was a big blockbuster hit, directed by Leonard Nimoy. And I think it was one of the first really big VHS hits, too. When that came out on VHS cassette, they sold millions.
Yeah, that was probably my very first experience. And then I remember watching TNG with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit of an egghead, so we just watched, he would geek out over it the whole time. Good times.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely good times.
How's it going in there?
What's up?
I said, "What's up, buddy? How's it going?"
Oh, it's going pretty well. How you guys doing?
I saw you fall asleep from all the Star Trek talk, so I figured I'd break it up a little bit.
So I'm not a Trekkie, but I do love Wrath of Khan. I love that movie growing up. The TV show for me was more of like get stoned in high school and talk about how silly that shit is,
Who's it? Dennis Miller has a routine where he says, in college you get stoned, and then you watch the opening credits to guess which star will become the Enterprise as it zips by.
Yeah. I enjoyed when J.J. Abrams brought him back, that first one. I did like that first movie.
Yeah,
off the top of my head, I can't even remember the others. But I'm also a Star Wars fan.
You know, Wrath of Khan is one of those movies that it kind of transcends the Star Trek fandom. It's just out there as a really good action adventure movie.
Oh man, when they put the bugs in his ears.
Oh yeah, jeez,
it's intense.
You can never forget
Montalban. That guy just chews the scenery. That's one of the greatest overacting performances of all time.
You said it. That guy.
And for anyone still debating this, his pecs in that movie are real. It is not a prosthetic. That has been solved officially.
This is a prosthetic belly, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. How much did you have to pay for that thing, Kyle? How much did that one set you back?
It's about $2,500. Not
Worth
too bad.
every penny.
Yeah, it was.
I see Loki in the comments pretending that he didn't rank JJ Trek as his #1 favorite movie. We all saw that episode of the podcast where he said that. Back me up here, Kyle.
So, where's baby's at?
We have a Klingon child.
Let me see. I'm trying to get something. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get something finished. I'm a fucking crap. I'm a slacker. So, you guys all saw that CGC had a promotion on top of being acquired.
Yeah, they had a big announcement.
Yeah. Well, Itch, would you like to let us know what that
they
announcement?
promoted Matt Nelson to the president of the company.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
So, I mean, that's big for him. That also means, I guess, he's not grading the books anymore because he's been the head grader for a long time. What was it, 2 episodes ago, we had Bill Ponsetti on, who was kind of Matt's mentor growing up. So it's kind of, he's had a crazy trajectory since he was like 16. Started working for Bill and then became the head, I guess, invented a whole process of restoration and grading, sold it to a big company, became the head grader, and now he's the president. So definitely congratulations to Matt Nelson.
All right, yeah, I think, and everybody check out the show, the Monday night show here on Flipside, our flagship show. He will be on the show talking about his promotion live Monday night. So everybody, make sure you guys check that out. So,
but stay tuned here because we're going to be talking about his new competition.
Yes, we are. It's probably the next 10 to 15 minutes. While we're doing that, okay.
What do you guys think of, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we'll do this more than once, but I think Jonathan's got some pretty fucking awesome stuff coming down the Hive path.
We do. We got some good stuff happening. One that we don't have a picture of, which is going to be cool. I'm still trying to get this guy to come on the show with us, hopefully next month or something. But you guys read We Live?
Not yet.
Familiar with it.
It's on my list.
Well, it's coming back in December, and we got David Mack doing a cover for us, which is pretty cool. Very excited about that.
Is that Boom Studios?
No, that's Aftershock.
Aftershock. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's a great story. It's awesome. I like it. And we're pretty excited to pick up David Mack on a cover too, because I like his work.
You guys had you guys launched some new books today for sale, didn't you?
Yeah, Last Ronin number 4. Staniak covers. It's his 4th of the 5, and some crossover connecting covers. So by John Gallagher, which that's pretty good. Those are pretty cool too.
The crossover connecting covers. Here,
Yeah,
I could share those. Let me share those with everybody. I really like that Ronin cover. I was just about to pull it up before you said that.
We do have a We Live fan in the chat. Mask Collectibles.
yeah. So the bottom left is number 7, and then above that is number 8, and to the right is number 9, and then lower right is number 10.
And you got to pre-order all of them today?
Yeah, you can pre-order the whole set. You can pre-order just number 8, 7, 8, and 9 individually as well. Because, the whole set won't even be out. They push crossover back. So the whole set won't even be finished till end of November, I think. But we'd already started pre-selling them, and so I couldn't, stop it. Yeah. I'm not going to do that now. So
I had to kick myself in the ass because I had pre-ordered this, and I didn't see it's the Department of Truth.
Yeah.
And I didn't. That's where you did the Something is Killing the Children with it.
Yeah.
You got to order both. My dumbass didn't click the one that got Something is Killing the Children also. So when I got mine, I was like, hell yeah, I got them both. And I was like, fuck me. Fuck me. But this is still an awesome cover. And we're talking with EGS here in a little bit. I sent one of your guys' Ice Cream Man books.
Oh, sweet.
To get graded by them. Just like I always says, you guys send me the highest graded ones. They're the highest quality ones. Because I know you hand select it.
Yeah. Like Kyle's order. Hold on. Put down everything else, guys.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you guys said you have this cover.
Oh, yeah. It's Boom Studios. That's Dark Blood. It's coming out pretty soon. And the artist is Felix Morales. He did that Ice Cream Man cover you just showed us. In fact, he's doing Ice Cream Man 24 through 28 for us. There's 25.
Wow, look at that.
The Black Cat 50 homage.
Dude, I love this right here. I can't wait to pre-order this one.
Yeah, those are next Saturday with Dark Blood. Those are all going on sale. Pre-sale next Saturday. Yeah.
Jason in the chat was asking Department of Truth, Something is Killing the Children set. It was about a month ago, last time you guys came on.
We sold those. Shit. And I think we sold those in April.
But you guys were offering them together. It was this and Something is Killing the Children 16.
Yeah. I got one of those over here. I do have a couple extra, Kyle. Okay? I got you.
I appreciate it. But yeah, Jason, that's what they had offered them together. You could buy both of them together and shipped out. And my drunk ass only picked one. I was so mad at myself. Oh.
We do have, I don't know if you guys saw, Something is Killing the Children is going to be doing the, Boom has the hardcovers coming out for, I think, 1 through 16, 1 through 15.
Mm-hmm.
And they only allowed, I think, 4 or 5 retailers to jump on that. And we'll have one of the hardcovers for it. Should be pretty
sweet.
I know. I like big collected editions. I do.
And then,
yeah.
And then you guys have Stray Dogs Your Stray Dogs cover is going to be a trade, is it, right? You guys are offering that?
Yeah, that Staniak, the Blair Witch cover is going to be a trade paperback, which will sell pre-sale this coming Wednesday. That's I think 2:00 Eastern time, like we usually do.
What a great cover for the trade.
I'm excited.
Yes, because that has to be one of my favorite Stray Dogs covers. So,
we have some really cool homages coming out for Stray Dogs Dog Days. That's not even on Previews World yet, so we got plenty of time on those. But one by Staniak, and I can't remember the other two artists right now, but they'll be cool. They'll be really cool.
Man, you guys got some awesome stuff coming out.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I love it. Here, take all my money. My wife loves when I get those Hive Comics.
Yeah.
Again? Fucking Hive Comics? Sorry. That's what happens when they got kick-ass covers.
Could be worse. You could be investing in crypto.
Dude, I gave up on that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Could be worse.
I jumped on that Dogecoin, dude, like a second too late.
No.
And I was like, fuck this stuff.
I would not meant that. You could be laughing 5 years from now. I've been sitting on a lot of crypto for a while.
Oh, there we go.
You know what? I'm just going to keep buying comic books. Get it.
Now you're better off buying from Hive Comics than investing in Dogecoin.
I agree.
Oh, our other two artists, James, I think, just chimed in the comments. Ben Templesmith, he's going to homage one of his own horror covers. And Chad Harden's going to do one for us as well. And that's for Stray Dogs, the Dog Days, the prequel stuff.
Oh, Chad. Awesome artist. That'll be awesome. Looks like we got Tony in backstage now. We'll bring him in. Hey, Tony. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Welcome.
We're excited to have you on.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your company. I know our audience is super excited. They've been on this EGS journey with us of getting books sent and getting books graded, looking at it, and I know our audience is super stoked that you're here with us today.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I appreciate you having me on. EGS, we're going on this is our third year. I kind of say year two being 2020 was, the way it was. We couldn't really, go out and do anything or go anywhere. But still had a good year. So this year is going even better. So yeah, I mean, I decided to throw my hat in the ring here in this grading industry because as a collector myself, I felt that there was definitely room for another company to come in and do a better job. So that was really the driving force, was to come in and offer collectors and everyone in the community a better service than what's available to us. So that's really why I felt the need to start EGS. So
what, you just this one day you were just like, you know what? We need another player in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I've been wanting to do this for years and just, just decided one day, after dealing with all the grading companies and seeing just how poorly they were treating people and doing things, I said, I'm going to have to really educate myself and, get on point and do the things I need to do, and then open up. So, I mean, yeah, we've been in business. This is our 3rd year, but I've been planning on doing this for maybe, probably 5 years ago. I got the notion to actually maybe do this one day. So,
hey Tony, what were some of the problems that you were seeing that led you to the conclusion that you had to do this, that you had to be a player in this market?
I would say one of the main reasons was just poor customer service, inconsistency, just inconsistency in grading. Just always being felt like we're just a number to these companies, man. That's it. I mean, they pretty much dictate to us how things are going to be, and if you like it, fine. If not, go somewhere else, right? I mean, that's kind of what their attitude is. And I felt that the community deserved something different, something with giving you guys, giving the community and everybody just more options. Being a grading company for the community. We're trying to do things for you guys to make it better for you. And, because we feel that, it's you guys that keep everybody in business, right? I mean, it's the consumer that pays for this service. So you should be getting a top tier service, not being treated like you're just a number, So
no, I would have to say that I think I said this when I was talking about it last week. Was okay. So when I send my books out, I'm nervous, as all of us are who send out books. Is USPS going to mess up our books? Is something going to happen when it's there? And the one thing I did like about it was I emailed you. By the next day, you had you had a response. I was put at ease, and I get super worried when my books are out, and I get I have that thing of, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to Kyle. And you know what? You actually put that at ease just with these quick responses and that's something that is one above the rest.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Kyle, I'm like you. I mean, when I'm, sending my own personal book out or whatever, when I'm sending to anybody, man, I don't want my book gone for more than 2 months. I mean, I want it back in at least, a month or so, because I'm just paranoid something's going to happen to it. Right. Yep. So, and then, I mean, there are options. I mean, you could pay for faster service, but I mean, I think, everybody should, to me, a month is a sufficient amount of time for somebody to pay a standard price and get their book back. I mean, a month, give or take a few days, if you want your book faster back to you sooner than a month, then yes, I would, I think then you probably need to pay a little extra to get your book back before then. But, I've always thought that, a month, is a good standard time to have your books away from you, right? And have them back to you. So, because I like I said, I was the same way like you. I don't like my books gone for that amount of time. So the case is, I noticed at the bottom here you put this security tab. So when you peel this security tab, does it actually say void? Yep. Ah, that's awesome. Okay.
Tell us more about your slabs.
What was that?
Tell us more about your slabs. I got a chance at Scottsdale Comic Con to actually, for the first time, hold some in my hands, and I was very impressed by how sturdy they felt, yet they were so much thinner than the other companies. And and I like the labels. So tell us kind of how you came up with the slab and And how is it different from the others?
It's, well, I mean, being transparent, okay. They are actually, I don't know if you guys have heard or seen a comic skin. I don't know if you've heard of comic skins or seen a comic skin. We don't make those cases. I have to buy them off a third party from comic skins. Now I have to modify those cases. So I modify comic skins to have a sufficient product to put out until we can produce our own version and make our own case. So I don't know, like I said, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with what they are or not, but what I do is, you know, say for instance, you know, let's just say what I have to pay per slab, right? For each slab, I'm paying probably a little more than double what a company makes, a company pays per slab when they make their own. So not only am I paying double, but I have to modify them to make them sufficient enough that I feel is a good enough product to put out until we make our own. So, you know, and that's time and money. I mean, a lot of people don't understand what it takes.
And is this kind of more of a midterm or long-term plan to get your proprietary slab?
No, I mean, we're hoping by the end of this year, beginning of next year, we should be able to producing our own. But these cases here, I mean, listen, before I even opened up and did these, I mean, I did my research on these cases, and they're good cases. I mean, they're UV protectant. You know, they're crystal clear. You know, the plastic is really clear. They're light. You know, it's a good product, and I felt that it was good enough for us to use to open up and, you know, get started and get in business and get everybody familiar with EGS and what we can do. And then, you know, the plan was after a certain amount of time, after a certain, you know, after so many years, to produce our own. And that's really where we are. And, you know, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, we're ahead of schedule as far as that goes. I'm just, you know, we're definitely ahead of schedule of where I thought we might be at this point.
So are you reaching out to like plastic companies saying this is what we want, and now you have all these different plastic holders now, and good, bad. I mean, I assume that.
Guys, it's crazy. If you only knew, I mean, you wouldn't think making a little plastic case for to hold a comic book would be so difficult, and just everything that goes into it is crazy. But right now we are at the point to where we've already designed it. We've paid for the design. We have all of the, you know, the schematics and everything, you know, for it, because, you know, you have to have a draftsman draft it up. And, you know, we've got that. So right now we are really just shopping around and trying to see who is going to be the best, you know, the best company to go with, because luckily there's some places here in Florida that do this. So I would really like to stay in Florida so I could actually personally go and pick these up when they're ready, instead of coming from, you know, a different state or whatever, to where now I have to deal with shipping, and now you're dealing with scratches and damages and all of that sort of thing. So, you know, there's a number of companies here in Florida that I'm currently working with, and then, I mean, there's companies outside of Florida that I'm working with and seeing what you know, what could get done. But guys, I tell you, it's just it's a very long and tedious process. I mean, these guys take their time, getting back to you and figuring all of this stuff out. So,
like we got a listener here. He says there's a plastic shortage. Is that?
Yeah, that's got to factor in.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, right now that's a good point. I mean, I have heard from different companies that plastic is a little more harder to come by right now, but hopefully when we're ready, that won't be an issue anymore. Right now I'm hoping to, within the next month or two, just find somebody that I know we're going to go with, get the price nailed down so I know exactly how much it's going to be. And then we're probably going to start a little crowdfunding campaign to kind of help us out a little bit with that, to help with, the funds and stuff to get that going, so, we're looking forward to it. And, I can tell you that, once we make our own slab, things are going to just, things are just going to open up for us big time. So
I think Mike in our chat asked about the ability to scale.
Well, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think he's asking about.
He's referring to being able to do more and more, more grading. Can you?
I was going to actually ask about your grading team. If you can share something about you guys' experience with grading and where you guys stand right now.
Yeah. Also, you said you saw a lot of inconsistencies, so
right.
I'd like to explore. What are you doing to solve that problem too?
Yeah. Well, it's just myself. I'm the primary and only grader right now. When I feel we come to a point to where the workload is just getting too much for me, to do, then I'm going to have to obviously bring somebody else in and, train them the way, I was trained. I mean, depending on where they're coming from, right? Because, one of the big things about, the grading companies is, we don't know, what their standards are, right? Because they don't tell you. We tell you that, the way I grade is strictly by the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics, period. And you could look at the website and it's
solid,
and it's all there. So how we are assessing your book. Now, how these other companies do it and how they train their people, I don't know. But when the time comes and I need to hire somebody to take some of the workload off, then I would be training them. And but my experience is just from classes. I mean, I worked in a comic shop for years when I was a kid, so I kind of got my feet wet into grading. But that was old school,
like
right?
Matt Nelson, yeah.
So times have changed. So I had to educate myself in this new 10-point grading system and how all of this stuff works and how defects are found and how they're counted and all of these other things, stuff that we didn't really have back then, right? So my education was from using the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. So that's that's what I used. That's what I was taught and learned, and that's it. And everybody knows it. So there's no question. So I always say, look, if you're going to ever question kind of why your book got the grade that you did, you could always go out and buy an Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics and study it and read it. And I'm sure, once you read it and understand it, you'll say, okay, now I know why it got that grade. Even though we give you graders notes, but some people just don't understand the ins and outs of,
I actually liked that as well, that it actually on the back or it's inside the bag. It's not in the case. It's a separate thing, but it actually tells you.
Yep.
Like my Ice Cream Man 24 Hive Comics.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? That's
what's the number on that, Kyle?
What?
What's the number, the file number on the back?
1470.
So does that mean, Tony, that you have graded now under the EGS banner 1,470 comics?
At that time,
and
yes.
It's just been you?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Busy guy.
That's definitely one thing I was very curious about.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure CGC does that every hour. But
who has the number one? Where's the
mother.
number one? The first one. Your mother has it. Okay.
Yep.
What book does she get graded?
She got it was a Superman book. I forget which issue, but she's always been a big Superman fan, as am I. But
she didn't include cookies with it for a better grade, did she?
No. No favoritism. No favoritism.
Hey, Tony, we got some.
So we've talked about the slabs. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Tony, we've got some guys in the chat who want to know a little bit more about your origin story. Seeing how you're the man at EGS, they want to know a little bit more about you, where you came up in the grading industry with comics. What's your background?
Yeah, I started reading comics very young, and then like I said, transitioned to a comic shop to where that was my first job. And I was there probably 6 or 7 years. So of course, back then it was basically, I would blow all my paycheck on comics, right? And but it really, it installed in me the characteristics of, number one, I mean, like how to deal with people, how to deal with comics, how to treat comics, how to grade comics. I mean, it was all, I worked for an awesome owner, and that was really where I was introduced into the whole world of, people, this comic is worth this much. What? This comic is worth that much. What? Right? I mean, I started just reading them because I enjoyed them, and then you come to find out that some of these things you can retire on, right? I mean, back then. So it was a big I really enjoyed it, and like I said, that's really where I cut my teeth, right? I mean, I cut my teeth there, and then after that, kept collecting. I mean, stayed in the hobby, and just got to a point to where, like I said, I felt that things needed to improve. So, I knew that, I needed to improve because, my grading skills and how I was taught was, outdated. It wasn't the way that things were done now. So now I had to go ahead and educate myself on, on that to kind of relearn how things are looked at and how they are, the whole system is it's just night and day from when I was doing it back then. But at least back then I kind of had, some sort of, training in looking at books. Granted, we were looking at different things and things weren't counted the way they are now and stuff like that, but at least I had the experience of, evaluating, comics. So that helped when I had to learn the new way of doing this, as far as, grading a book. So, so basically, I mean, really that's it. I mean, like I said, I was there like 6 or 7 years. I stayed in the hobby, and then I just decided that, there needed to be a better option for people, because I was just getting fed up with, the terrible customer service, the turnaround times, the inconsistencies, and, it was just, I always felt like, these companies are dictating to us, right? I mean, they don't care. They're saying, hey, this is it. You like it, fine. You don't, go somewhere else. I mean, that was just the way they did things. So I said to myself, I think there should be a better service out there for the community and for people. And when I made that decision, that's when I, started to say, well, I need to get educated. I need to get firmly planted and do my research. And, and it took me a few years, and then, here we are today. But again, luckily, I found, comic skins, and I'm able to, make that product, a good enough product to use for EGS, because if it wasn't for that, I still wouldn't be open, right? I mean, because if I didn't have that, I'd have to be producing my own cases. So, I started this. I mean, I don't have any backers, I don't have any investors. This is just purely my investment, building it from the ground up. So, if I didn't have these and I couldn't make these work, and I felt that this wasn't going to be a good enough product, I wouldn't have opened. I wouldn't be here. So, that's why I tell people, look, I mean, our slabs are good. Are they different? Yes, they're different, but different doesn't equate to being worse. I mean, I think a lot of people have a misconception about, it's a comic skin, so it's, they're not legitimate or something, without even holding one in their hand and actually looking at one, right? Like the gentleman said, I
can say I've held them and I was impressed. I liked how they felt and how they looked.
Right. But, unfortunately, I mean, a lot of people just seem to look at them and they see the tabs on the top and they're just turned off because it has those little tabs on the top. And, they don't like it and they're going to use whoever. Okay. I mean, that's your decision. But, at the end of the day, I will say this, I will put my service above any of the other companies as an all-around service. If you're taking everything that a grading company should be, I mean, I think we're better than anybody. Now, people might say our cases aren't as good. Okay, well, if that makes somebody else a better grading company, then I guess so, maybe, if that's the way you feel. I don't know, but as
one thing we haven't touched on, and I think that sets you apart and is really fun, are your labels.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that.
Yep.
That you kind of at first you eschewed the kind of the blue yellow label. I know you've brought that back in, but your customization, I think, is one of the more fun aspects of what you're doing.
Right, and that goes to the fact that we want it to be different, right? I mean, we want to be, we don't want to be a cookie cutter grading company, right? We want to be the grading company that gives you guys the most options for you to choose from. We're not saying, hey, look,
the custom label.
What's that?
Tell us about the custom label where you come up with the artwork.
Right. Well,
that's, I think, fascinating.
Right. I mean, you could leave it up to us. I mean, we have tons of colored labels if to choose from. But if you feel you want, us to come up with something that's gonna have graphics on it, and we can customize that for your cover, we will do that. Or if you say to us, hey, I want a custom label, but this is what I'm thinking. Can you do this or that? And we're going to do it. I mean, if we can do it, we're going to do it for you. If we can't, we're going to say, hey, we can't, we can't really do that, but how about this? We can do this for you. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, I mean, a lot of people really just leave it up to us. They're just like, hey, do your thing on it, and they're good. But, we could do it anyway. You want us to do it, fine. If you want to make suggestions and let us know you want something on there, we're gonna do that for you too. So
no, I mean, I really like custom because like what I was saying last week, and when we were deciding to ship these books out to you originally, our audience decided what colors this was going to be, and I thought that was a fun part of us sitting here live and talking about this. Is all of our awesome listeners, we got to decide, okay, like, how many unicorn books did you get graded now? You only got to grade 1, so that's pretty awesome. But you got to make this, you know what I mean? Like, we got to pick this, and I just thought that was fun that we actually, it makes it unique.
It's all about options, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's all about options. It's all about giving you guys choices, because at the end of the day, you're the one spending your money, right? So you should have the options of having a book done the way you want. All right. I mean, so if that means, you know, having a blue label or a yellow label or a gray label or a black label or whatever kind of label you want to go with your book, why not? You know, I mean, why not? There's you know, there's no rule that says, hey, you know, a label has to mean something, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's,
I guess the blue and the yellow are kind of an industry standard, but a lot of times comic books come down to personal preference, your aesthetic preference, and I really love that you do offer that option.
I mean, all you have to do is read the label. I mean, you know, I know a lot of people are brainwashed to say, okay, a blue label means this and a yellow label means that, but at the end of the day, that book with that service could have any label on it because it says it right there on the label what it is. So, you know, why should it have to just...
What do you offer as far as signed books?
What's that?
For signature authentication.
Yep.
And signed books. What do you guys offer for that?
Yes, we do signature verifications, and again, you know, we have the standard blue and standard yellow. The yellow for signature series, blue for the certified choice. But again, those are the free ones. Those are in case you just want the regular, you know, that. But you know, you can get a signature series label in any color or custom too. You know, but the free ones are going to be, you know, yellow, and the certifieds are blue. But yes, we do certify signatures. You know, you don't need to send us a COA. If you want to send it to us, you know, that's fine. We'll accept it, but we're still gonna verify it anyway. So
what do you do for verification for that?
Yeah, we have a proprietary system that we have here that we use to authenticate. It's a huge database with signatures across the board. So,
like a digital verification system.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I mean, I did like that your turnaround was exact. It was a month to the T.
Yep.
It was good. I liked it. I mean, so I got to quite like, okay, the vacuum sealing.
Mm-hmm.
That took some practice, right?
Yep. Sure did.
And you press books for everybody.
We do.
You offer that service.
We press and clean.
And cleaning.
Now, yep. And cleaning. And that's, you know, I mean, Kyle, that, you know, you bring that up, the sealing as far as your book goes, you know, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but your book is completely sealed in an inner liner as well. Okay. Now, when you just get a regular comic skin, your book isn't sealed inside that inner liner. It's left open so you can take the book in and out. We seal that inner liner all 4 sides, so it's completely sealed in that archival inner liner. So again, if you do get into the case and rip that seal off, you know, you're gonna know that somebody's been in that case, and then you're gonna have to cut the book out of the inner liner to get it out. So, you know, I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because I don't know if a lot of people, you know that we do totally seal the book also inside that inner liner. So,
what book were you most surprised to get? Where you were like, holy shit, this guy sent me this. That's awesome.
Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, you got to grade one of those.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, sure did. I got to grade one of those, and I think Daredevil 1 was was another one. I've done some really early Spider-Man books. You know, I think.
Do you accept Golden Age? Do you accept other sizes?
Golden Age, Silver Age, Golden Age and up. That's Golden Age is the max that's going to fit into that case. And then
okay, so you don't do a magazine or treasury or anything like that?
No,
not yet, at least.
No, and we can only go so thick. Okay, so you know those 100-page books are not gonna fit in those cases. Like I think the most we can go up to is, I think 60 or 80 page is the max that'll fit in there. So
yeah, those 80-page king size, yeah.
You know, anything that's thicker than that won't fit. I think like the Detective 1000s and the Action 1000s, those are like the thickest that'll fit in the case. So
have you had to send books back just simply because?
Yep, a few. Mm-hmm. I mean, I try to let people know, you know, when I take a look at the order forms when they come in, sometimes I can remember that's a real thick book, and I'll try to email them before they send it. But you know, sometimes it's too late, or I just don't remember that that's a thicker book, and they come in, and we just have to, you know, send them back. Yep.
Brian,
and I see you have your own.
I'm good. I'm just listening right now. Yeah.
You've got a YouTube channel, got some videos out, including one on how to place an order, how to submit your books. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep. We just dropped, I just dropped one yesterday. My first episode of Talking Slabs, and Reggie Collects was my guest. So that just dropped yesterday. We had a nice conversation, and the subject we went over was why competition is good for the grading industry. So if you guys get a chance, everybody gets a chance, go check out the our YouTube. It's a really fun video.
You gonna do a Reggie Collects pedigree? Did he ask you about that?
No, yet? He didn't ask about that. No, but Reggie is an awesome guy. He actually launched EGS on his YouTube channel. So fittingly, I felt he should be the first guest on the series. So you know, I'm going to be having you know, other YouTubers on discussing different subjects. So really, it's just you know, discussing the topic, you know, at hand, and then you know, after that, wherever it goes, it goes. It's just like, you know, two guys talking for an hour, right? So that's it's a pretty neat show.
Not bad.
I agree. Reggie is an unstoppable force. Yeah, he's a great guy.
So, what are your plans for what is your 2020, the rest of 2021, and your 2022 goals for EGS besides the slabs?
Just growth and getting out to meet people. That's really what I want to happen. I don't know how it's going to go for the rest of this year with cons and stuff, how many we're going to be able to go to. It's still kind of up in the air. But next year, we definitely want to start getting out and meeting people, getting to cons and setting up and meeting people, because, you know, I mean, the more people you can interact with live and they see you, they talk to you, they see your product, right? That's really how you, I mean, listen, word of mouth is great too. I mean, but I mean, there's just that, you know, there's that dynamic of being live and meeting people and interacting with people live that we haven't been able to do yet. So once we can start doing that, along with, you know, these cases, it's going to be game on, man. I think we're gonna, you know, more and more people are going to start to, you know who EGS is in the industry, I believe.
So
For sure.
Hartman asks, you're the one man grading machine, but do you have a staff of people that goes to shows for you, or will be going to shows?
Yep. When I go to shows, I do have people, that will be, attending with us. I do have a couple people, on staff here, and other people, of course, that I know that would just be helping, just setting up and all of that sort of thing. But I do have people that, say, for instance, right, we're at a con, I'm going to have people that are going to be there witnessing signatures and all of that. I mean, all of that good stuff. So
like when CBCS started,
yep,
they had witnesses across the country, so that like there was a person for Arizona, say, like,
yep.
Like we're all here in Arizona. So are you thinking about doing something like that where we can make like McClay the EGS witness for Arizona? Is that something that you were thinking about doing, and what would those requirements be?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely would want some people to witness and stuff for us at different cons. I just haven't really had the chance to even think about things like that, man. I mean, it's been so much that it's like, we got so much going on, so much stuff, happening that, I haven't even really gone into that realm of, having people, out there doing it for us. And especially like last year, because there's no cons last year anyway. Right. I mean, so that wasn't even really a thought, but now we're kind of getting back into the swing of things. Now that's definitely something that, I'll be looking into, is to try to get some people, if we can't make it, have at least some representatives there at the show, taking, submissions and stuff like that. But, man, it's takes a lot of time, right? I mean, a lot of people don't understand, like I said, I don't have the deep pockets that these other companies did when they started. These companies had a huge head start over me because they had money. They had the money, they had the backing, they can just,
especially
go
now.
go and do it. Me, I started from, the ground up. So it's a building process. So it's, it's going to take us a little bit longer, to, do the things that these guys had the luxury of doing right off the bat. So, we are behind the 8 ball there just a little bit, but, it will, it'll definitely come around because, I'm just humbled at where we are right now for a company that like hasn't even really been to more than 2 conventions since it's opened. All our business has been from social media and word of mouth. And, where we are right now, I didn't think we would even be close to where we are right now without, really with just being on social media and having, the word of mouth. I probably say, we're probably maybe a year ahead of what I had thought or I had envisioned us being. So what does that tell you, right? That just goes to show you that people are just getting fed up with these other companies, right? They're looking for other options. And, we're gonna, we'll have our seat at the table. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're doing things the right way. And, we're building that solid foundation. And, every year that goes by, we're just going to keep getting better and better and being able to do more things and more things. And, before you know it, hopefully we'll be in the conversation with the other guys. So
I think the most important thing that you can do in order to have that happen is to one, be transparent, like you said, transparency, and 2, react to the market or the collectors, what they want, and talk to them, and don't keep them in the dark about stuff. Too many of the grading companies keep the collectors in the dark about stuff. Yep. and aren't very good on social media or going on shows or all kinds of stuff. You need to be very close to the collector and listen and talk and take ideas and do what the collectors wants. And I think that a lot of those grading companies start off doing that, and it works great, but they don't continue it. Right. So that's my thing. I felt like CBCS came out the gate just flying, and then they quit listening and they didn't have their ear to the ground, Right. So hopefully you can do that. I mean, with the custom labels, I think that is absolutely genius. I think that is something that helps a ton. There's nothing better than having a book look even better in a case. If it can highlight the book even better, game over.
Yeah, you're so right. As I say, I call it boots on the ground, right? There's no substitute for boots on the ground, and EGS is always going to have boots on the ground for sure, because once you lose that connectivity, then you're done. You just lose touch, and you just start wandering here, wandering there, and I guess these guys, they think they have a certain amount of clientele, and once they reach that certain amount of clientele, they can just be disconnected and just keep that ball going. But I don't know.
Monopolies become lazy.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. But no, we'll always be connected to the community. I mean, at least I will be. So I've always said, look, if I can build, the difficult thing for me is to try to balance everything, right? So when I get to the point to where I know, look, I can't balance everything, that, something is suffering because I can't give it the attention that it needs. Well, then, you hire somebody, right? That's the whole point of being in business and keeping that standard in customer service, right? I mean, when you get to that point, you got to hire people. So listen, I'm hoping, it gets to the point to where, I can hire people, and, maybe someday I don't have to be as involved in certain things in the business, and I can concentrate on just going to cons and being on social media and being more of a face, of the company, and making sure that we're connected, right? Because I have other people that I know that are doing a good job while I'm not there, and I can, concentrate. So I never see us like losing connectivity to the community. I don't think that'll ever happen.
Good.
I got to do one thing real quick. It looks like last week some of our listeners did miss our EGS unboxing. So I'm going to switch it. I don't know if you actually got to watch it, Tony, or not.
I did. Yep.
Brian, if you want to switch me real quick to the screen, because a couple people have asked about the case. So start with Dwayne. Because of the way I do handle my books, you can see that my unicorn did get a 9.4. And
only if Marco was here.
I know, because there was indentations from the way I do handle my books. So and Tony did find those indentations because of I have sausage fingers, and they I really went over this book.
I wish you would have pressed it. I really did. I wish you would have pressed it. It'd have been a 9.8 if you pressed it.
Honestly, easy. I've never had good luck with pressing. I'm just good with whatever it gets. Because I think and another person asked about it, but yeah, last week we did do the unboxing, and like I said, here are the grader's notes. It says that there's indentations, and it's probably from me handling it, and that this unicorn book was on top. So when I'm done with the show, I take my headphones and I throw them on top of my stack of books. So it's probably my headphones hitting that book.
Yeah.
Yes, JJ.
And you don't really, and they're not really noticeable until you put the light on them. When you put the light on them, that's when they pop up. So it's not like they were really, really bad, but they were there. So
Yeah,
I remember that one.
And then this one is great too, because you could tell he does his research, because I didn't say that this was a Hive Comics exclusive. And it ended up being on the label. I actually forgot to put it on the sheet. But I do have a question about that. On your grading sheet, now that I remember that, is it asks you what grade you think your books are.
Yes.
And I think I put near mint, and it automatically puts 7.0 on the sheet. So what is, so when you're,
it shouldn't. It should just put mint, near mint, very fine, fine. There shouldn't be a numeric number.
Because I thought for some reason it said 7.0, and I was like,
yeah,
God, I hope they don't
it did say 7, and we thought maybe it was card grading.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I hope these books don't come back as 7.
No,
but they didn't.
It shouldn't be on the form. Under the condition, it should just have the the verify. It shouldn't have a numerical grade on it. And the reason why we do that is so if you're thinking your book is a near mint, okay, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, my God, the best thing I can give this is a 7 at best, right? And you're thinking it's a near mint, we're going to get in touch with you and say, hey, look, so you don't have that feeling of vomiting when you get the book back, right? We're going to tell you, look, we noticed you put near mint on here, but listen, we're looking at this book, and the best I can do is this. What do you want us to do? I mean, that's why we put that there. So
it's kind of like a pre-screen.
Yeah, right. So you guys, because listen, back before, again, when I was sending books in, I get some books back and like my jaw would hit the ground and be like, what, right? I mean, how did you come up with this? So I did that so nobody should have that feeling in their stomach when they get their book back, right?
Now, if a book came and the USPS or whoever just completely they played football with it,
right?
Would you message the customer beforehand and say, hey?
Yes. If we see damage on the box, we're going to take a picture of the box and at least let you know, look, this book came, the box came pretty crunched. So, we're going to go ahead and evaluate it, but, unless you took pictures, we don't know if they damaged the book or what, but at least you'll know. You could say, hey, look, they were pretty good when we sent them in, and we'll be like, okay, we mark them, and when we grade them, we'll, and if they're way off, then we're going to maybe get a hold of you and say, hey, remember we said, your box came pretty mangled. Well, this book is, it's got a big, gigantic fold on the, on the corner. Do you remember it having that when you sent it? We'll, at least you'll know, what's going on, to where, you send it to anywhere else, you have no idea. They, whether the book is crushed, the box is crushed or not, they're looking at it, they're grading it, and they're sending it back. They're done, out the door, right? So we try to do things a little bit different, for sure.
I like that personal touch.
That could be a good video for you guys, is a tutorial on how to ship your boxes to you.
Yep. Oh yeah, we've got. Listen, I've got a whole slate of stuff I want to do. It's just getting the time.
It's a matter of time. Yeah.
So, we'll be putting more stuff out on the YouTube channel, but again, it's the time to get it, to do it, and get it done. So, but we will.
You do your own pressing, or do
A lot
you
of people
have
are
the pressing?
asking. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ish.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, a lot of people on the chat are just kind of asking. I think they may have missed the beginning of the interview. You offer everything: pressing, cleaning.
Yeah.
Pre-screening, signature verification, label customization. I can't really think of any other service that the others do that you don't offer.
We also have the art label we came out with too, which we're starting to get a lot of. That's starting to take off too now. People are sending us, their sketch covers for just the art label. They're not getting the book graded. They just want their sketch cover in the slab with a really nice custom label on
That's cool.
So
That's real cool.
Yep.
Once you can get into like old school concert posters, that would be cool to start grading.
Yep. Hey, as I say, time and money, Kyle. That's what it's all about, bro.
Yes.
Time and money. That's the name of the game.
Can I ask about the labels again? So the customization, how much are you willing to, let's say, personalize? I'll give you a scenario. I have a ASM number 58, and I don't want to send it into CGC because it won't come back with the information I would personally love to see on the label, which is this is the first appearance of Frank Zappa in a comic book. Now, is that something you'd be willing to entertain?
I'll put it to you this way. We, as far as label design goes, we will try to design that label aesthetically to look how you want. Now, as far as the information goes, I mean, we could, as long as the information's accurate, yes. I mean, because, obviously, if it's not, then, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to say something, or like, for instance, right?
My example is something I've been wanting to get. I don't want to put you on the spot at all and make you make any promises on the show or anything, but that ASM 58, if I could get it on the label that it says Zappa appearance, boom, that'd be tremendous.
Yep. I mean, as long as he made an appearance, yes, absolutely, we can put that on there. Because what our labels, we do it a little different. Like we will put, as far as information goes, like as far as appearances go, we'll put cameo appearance, first full appearance on there, second appearance, depending, but we don't just put people who appeared in the book just because they appeared. If it wasn't a first or second, we don't really put it on there. Like we don't, we'll just put, like I said, cameo first or second. But if Scarlet Witch appeared in the book and you're like, hey, I want on a label that Scarlet Witch appearance. Sure, if that's what you want.
So there's a comic book coming out
for you,
that I'm actually going to be in.
Okay.
So now I can get first appearance of Kyle in it.
You can. Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, my life would be complete. First appearance of Kyle.
Actually, I just did one not too long ago. Oh man, I forget the name. I forget the name of the comic, but I don't know if you're familiar with Economics and Comics, that channel. Well, Billy, who is the channel creator, was in the book. So the guy who actually wrote the book asked me when he sent the books in, can you please put first appearance of Billy Dayton, Economics and Comics, in comics? Sure, if he was, if it's
that's
true,
very cool.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Sure.
I think that's awesome.
Sure.
It's funny. I saw Billy at the Scottsdale Comic Con wearing an EGS polo.
Okay.
And for a second, I thought it was you. I was like, is that Tony? Is that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. He's got And
funny
going
enough, that
back
was the
to
same con where I saw your slabs and kind of started the whole thing of we got to check this thing out.
Yep. Yeah, I actually had a guy who was who called in because we put that the book was a reprint, and he didn't want that on the label. He said, "I don't want it on the label that it's a reprint." I said, "Well, sorry." I'm like, if it's a reprint, we got to put it on the label. I mean, that's just the way it is. So we won't do that. Like, if you request something not to be on the label that has to be on the label, we're not going to do that. But,
that's great.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. I mean, I'm glad you came on. This was, and I hope you keep in contact with us and come on the show from time to time and update us.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime you guys want me on, I'll be more than happy to come on and
Well, again, like I said, I think the coolest thing is that you're doing stuff like this. You're putting yourself out there to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. This is how we do it. And what can we do to make it even better? And what can we do to help this, you as a collector,
that's
love your product more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of why I started it, to do that, because nobody else was, so, we're going to keep.
You're a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And hats off to you for that. No, at the risk of sounding cheesy, this is the American dream. I mean, you're doing it yourself.
Yep.
You had an idea, you had a plan, you're living it, and there's, a whole community now that can benefit from it. That's what America's all about. And, so again, hats off to you.
Haven
Appreciate it.
for Heroes is asking, is there a bulk or a retailer's discount?
I have the only discount I have. There's some YouTube channels where you can get a 5% discount on any order. There's always, if you send in 10 books or more, you're going to get a 10% discount. That's just, it's on the website. You'll see it on top, 10% off when you submit 10 books or more. That's about really the most I can go. Again, only because I have to buy these things, and it costs me double of what a regular grading company is paying per slab. So I don't have that room for a bigger.
That's understandable at this time. I mean, that's
you know what I mean? So listen, if I'm only paying half as much per slab, right, and it's taking me more than half the time to do a book, right? I mean, that's a recipe for success. I mean, so once that happens, then I can start to get a little more creative with discount. I'll have more breathing room, to do more things. The way it is now, it's like I got a pair of handcuffs on. I could only go, so far. But once them handcuffs come off, it's going to open up a lot of other things, not only aesthetically for people, but for me as an owner of the business. I'm going to be able to just do a lot more things. I'll be able to, it's just going to open up a lot of other avenues for us once that happens. But until then, man, we're just going to keep grinding and doing our thing, man, and doing the best we can, and make sure we're giving everybody the best service out there. That's our goal. Hopefully,
Amen.
Hopefully in a few years our slabs will, be worth a little bit more. When you try to sell it, we'll be a little more competitive with those other guys, because I think that hurts us a little bit too. I mean, the flippers and stuff aren't looking at us at all, because we can't help that our books are selling for what they sell for. We have nothing to do with that. But if they did, I think once they start to, once people start commanding a higher price for them, I think things might turn around that way too. So we're hoping.
Well, and I think continue to play off, even if you're not doing it, even if you are doing it, continue to play off on how great it is to customize that label, because the books that you have, behind you on your website showing off how good that looks, and the books you use to show them off, you're doing a good job. So
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very cool.
You're more than welcome to hang out for a little bit if you want. If you want to bail out, because I know it's late on the East Coast. We all live on the West Coast. It's only 8:30.
Yeah,
we understand. I know it's late where you are. You're over there on Florida.
Yeah,
we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us.
I appreciate.
Please don't be a stranger. I'd love for you to be a friend of the show. Carte blanche. Anytime you want to come on, don't wait for me. Just message me. You've got the email. Just let me know. I'd be more than happy. Like we had Hive Comics on.
Okay.
He got some family stuff and had to leave. He just messaged me, says, "Hey, come on. Can I come on?" I go, "Yes."
Awesome. Yeah,
I'm sure you got a lot of grading to do.
Sunday. I still try to take Sundays
Hopefully
off.
now even more after this.
But if it comes time I need to, I definitely will work on a Sunday. But I try not to. But again, man, I appreciate you having me on. Anytime I can come on anybody's channel and get out there and more folks know us, see us, know a little bit about us, it does wonders for us. So, I mean, I appreciate you having me on. And like I said, anytime you guys want me back or whatever, Kyle, you know how to get a hold of me. Anybody can just I'm easy to get a hold of. So just let me know.
Hey, we're Facebook friends now.
Yep. So just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to come on for sure.
Hartman Sports Card says he's going to be sending his first book to you. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate that. We look forward to it.
Well, thank you very much, and have a great night. And please don't be a stranger.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
Right.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, that was a pretty fun interview.
That was awesome. It's something new and exciting, and
now that we got a nice amount of people in the chat, I want to shout out again one more time. Hive, oh my God, my fucking computer. Hive was on with us. He had to bail because he had some family stuff going on. But I just want to show off one more time. Next week, he's got some pretty cool. He's got some pretty cool exclusives coming out. So I love these ice cream mans. Oh my God. So just a shout out to Ice Cream Mans. I think the crossover covers went on sale today, I think he said. So, if you guys aren't grabbing those if you guys
Donny
aren't
Cates
grabbing
back on crossover.
Who cares?
Well, was that Chip Zdarsky thing? That was just a one-off, wasn't it? That he wrote issue 7. No? Does anybody in the chat know?
I stopped reading crossover. All I know is these are fucking cool crossover books. Hey, man. Hey, Hive, if you want to jump back in, jump back in. But, okay, I think Will has to go to work tomorrow morning pretty early. So I think he set up a pretty nice segment for us. He's got some
Spider-Man
some Spidey stuff to talk about. So let's talk Spidey with let's talk some Spidey with Will.
Oh man! All right.
Leftover is saying that
he's writing it and Donnie is done. Oh, okay.
So we'll steal the Spider-Man show for us.
Thwip.
Yeah. So to quickly finish up that storyline that I was talking about last week, the Chameleon Conspiracy, the Legion of Losers that popped up, a lot of them turned out to be other chameleons. The Grizzly and the other 3 Jack-o'-lanterns were all chameleons. not our Chameleon that we knew from the original Amazing Spider-Man run. But
does he actually show up at any point?
Our Chameleon is actually in prison. That's who's been talking to Teresa Parker this whole time. And basically, they end up fighting. Spider-Man recovers the device, and everyone's happy. Our Chameleon was trying to get Teresa to get the device for him and everything. She refuses, and then we're left with the question of who is Teresa Parker? Is she really Peter's sister, or is she a robot clone like the parents from back in the 90s? Or is she someone that was rescued from the plane crash by the same person that rescued our Chameleon? And she was trained to pretend she was someone. So they never actually said what happened. No, the son's lost, didn't they? Damn it.
Shout out
all
to
right,
Bird
I'm
City
I'm
Comics.
watching all the rest of the games, man. Forget this Jinx stuff. I'm watching them all.
Shout out to Bird City check out their awesome exclusives also as well. Just like this awesome fucking Stray Dogs that they hooked me up with. All right, keep going. Sorry, Will.
So basically, that's where the storyline ended. It kind of set up this faction with the Chameleons and Jack-O-Lantern and the Foreigner, and we got Slide and a couple others in there. That's one of the factions that's going to be in this upcoming Sinister War,
which is the final arc, correct, of Spencer's run.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can make me big right now. Anyone can?
Well, Kyle just.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah. So anyway, we're starting with ASM 70 right here, which is the prelude to the Sinister War. There's a great splash page in here that shows all the different factions. So all the different ones that are going on there. There's all different groups that have ever used the Sinister name. And one of the main groups that's being recruited right now is pretty much the original Sinister Six. We have Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Doc Ock, Sandman, the Lizard, and which is a lizard that's split from Kurt Connor. So now we have actually two different characters when it comes to that. And I think Mysterio is involved with that team too. Their mysterious benefactor behind them is Kindred, so he's going to be involved in this storyline as well. And it looks to like be maybe some really crazy stuff going on. It might not be all over the place like this previous story. We may see some good stuff in this one. I hope so. And this will be Spencer's last run on the book too. So
interesting.
And there's also there's a mini series to go along with it, right? It's just called Sinister War.
Yeah, there is.
It's directly tied into the current ASM books.
Yeah, which is this one here.
Yeah, so if you get ASM 70, you want to pick up Sinister War #1 at the same time.
Yeah. It's a great book. It had 2 Bagley variant covers, so it was pretty cool too. Which I don't have with me right now. They're someplace.
There's a connecting cover and a wraparound cover.
Yeah. And this is right up Bagley's wheelhouse right here because he loves drawing multiple characters in the same page. That's his forte. So he's going to be doing this whole storyline. So
as a Bagley fan, he must be happy.
Yes, very.
So do you feel that there's big things in store for the final issue, which I believe is, I think issue 74 is Legacy 875. So I don't know if there's actually going to be an issue 75.
They got to quit doing that. They got to quit doing that stuff where you have to say issue 4 Legacy. What? That's so tiring.
Yes, it really is. That is 100% fucking tiring.
I feel it's part of the hobby. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but stupid things like that shouldn't be. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like when it's stuff that they can fix. they don't. They can fix that easily. They could just print. That they would save money on ink because they wouldn't have to print legacy number whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
and then they'll screw up the numbers too. So
I don't care though. Like, I'm cool if they screw up the numbers. If this book has been going for this long and hasn't really
don't
stopped,
screw up the numbers.
Well, you know, I mean, I get it. If there's
No.
1,000+ books and you gotta and they're accounting all appearances and like mini series and stuff like that, that's I'll give them a pass on that. As a matter of fact, I tell you what, I'll give you 4 or 5 F-ups before I get pissed about it if you just go back to legacy numbering.
That's very generous.
That is very generous.
I don't want to see 13 legacy this. It's either one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see some
Absolute
people
Geek is
like-
saying that they're going to kill Peter and Ben Riley takes over. Is this
They'll never kill Peter. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. If it happens, it'll be like 2 weeks or a month and a half or
like last
a year.
time.
Yeah, like last time. You got it.
There's images they're showing of Peter in a hospital bed, the costume all shredded, and Mary Jane there with him. And the next storyline after Spencer leaves, they're showing that Ben Reilly is supposed to be taking over as Spider-Man, and he's wanting to show he's a more superior Spider-Man. And his new costume looks like a cross between his original Spider-Man costume and the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume and the Doc Ock Spider-Man costume. So
I mean, Superior was a great story.
Yeah.
Until it petered out.
But the cover, they released the cover for 74. Like I said again, I don't know if that's the final issue or not. And it's Peter and MJ, and it's not exactly a wedding scene, but it really suggests something. There's flowers and doves, and it's all like a very kind of romantic. So maybe that's, instead of killing Peter, he just retires with MJ, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, and there's the new costume.
Oh, that's 75. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
And that is Zeb Wells. Do I see that right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the end of Spencer's run then, huh?
Yep.
Thank God.
I don't think it would have been so bad if Marvel didn't get involved and interrupt them for all these crossovers and everything. Because they dragged this storyline with Kindred out way too long.
I do not like that cover.
And I hope he ends his run
this is
with
the Gleason variant
actually
right here.
revealing. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it?
That's what I was
I
gonna
think it's
say.
cool.
I mean, yeah, you get the skull.
It's cool the
you get
first
Batman,
time.
You get the Batman. You get
Yeah,
the
it was
Spider-Man
cool the
looking
second
thing.
time.
Yeah.
Are we going to see 1,000 miles with turntables now? Probably. Are we going to see 1,000 other Marvel people doing turntable stuff? Probably.
Hey, Brian, you don't like the Charlotte's Web homage here?
I'm cool with it. I mean, it's not bad.
It had a word. It should say
Some pigs.
Spider-Man. Yes.
It does. It says the Amazing Spider-Man in the web there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's cool.
man.
I mean,
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just tired. I get tired of this. When something catches
So
on.
who's the team on this then? Zeb Wells, Kelly Thompson,
That's
Saladino Mad. That's a lot of writers on one comic.
Yeah, it's because they're going to go through a rotating cast of writers again, like they did during Big Time. So, like that really worked last time. But hey,
Yeah,
we'll
everybody
see.
loved Big Time.
Wait, go back up again to the cover.
I love this. Yeah, hold on. There's one guy says, what I don't get about them bringing back Ben Reilly again to replace Peter yet again is why. Yeah, that's what we all think. Why?
Well, it's like you
I
tell
see
a
you're
joke
using
and
the
nobody
League of
laughs.
Comic
You keep
Geeks.
telling it.
It does say the Amazing Spider-Man. Does it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
In the web, yeah, along around the mouth area.
All right.
Look, if you
Thanks,
tell a
Eric.
joke, if you tell a joke and nobody laughs the first time, you just keep telling it until somebody laughs. That's what they're doing here, right?
Yeah.
People didn't even freak out when Ben Reilly was Spider-Man the first time, so we just keep telling it. Just keep telling that story until somebody's excited about it.
I don't know. They just keep Peter and just.
I love this one right here. Miles shoe variant went up for sale today. So we got the Frankie's Comics Miles variant where Miles was dunking the basketball and everybody geeked out about the Air Jordans, right? And then we got the Rose Besh where she's got the shoe out front and everybody geeked out of the shoe. So now what are they doing? They're just giving us shoes. I mean, they're not even giving us the hero in it anymore. They're just full shoe on the cover.
As long as there's a shoe and some webs, we're good.
Yeah.
I
It's gonna
saw
be a
that
Croc.
and I was like,
Some Crocs.
oh my God, some Spidey Crocs.
My kid has Spidey Crocs.
I couldn't.
You said that like a challenge, Sam. My kid has Spidey Crocs.
Yeah, my kid can be that cover.
I mean, is anybody really clamoring to get the cover that's got the Spidey shoes on it? Like,
It's a cool
Probably.
cover. I mean, it's not terrible, but
I don't care for it personally.
yeah.
People love shoes. That's the thing.
I mean, maybe if they were Pumas, I'd like them. I don't know.
Yeah. I did something kind of cool today. I went into I got a call
fired from podcast.
Yeah, I got fired from podcast. Yeah. So I went to my local comic shop and Jesse hit me up and he's like, "Hey, we got this new show that we're doing where people come in and get stuff appraised. It's kind of like a Pawn Stars thing." He's like, "Do you want to bring anything in and go on?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" He goes, "Just surprise me. Don't tell me what you're going to bring in, right?" So I'm like, first thing you think is like, what are you going to bring in? I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring in expensive shit, something really expensive, super crazy. So I go in there and I brought in, I said, fuck that. I'm just going to bring in stuff that has cool stories. And one of the ones I brought in was this amazing Spider-Man book I had that Kyle was with me that I got for $1 in Jesse's store. It's Spider-Man #1, the McFarlane Direct, but it has a signature on it, and it's a Todd McFarlane signature, and it's just really, it doesn't look anything like Todd McFarlane's signature. Like when I first saw it when I got home, I think Kyle was with me, and I'm like, "Is that Todd McFarlane's signature?" And Kyle's like, No, it's not." And I'm like, well, I bought it and I'll keep it anyways, So I always pull my books out and kind of try to grade them and write down what they are. So I was pulling it out to grade and I opened it up and this sheet of paper fell out of it. And it was, sure enough, a piece of paper saying that this book came from
No, I remember that. No, I said, "Fuck yeah, that's his old ass signature."
Okay.
And you were like, "No way."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And then that's when that slid out.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's from a store in Puyallup, Washington. And it says on there that this book, it's called The Spider's Web. I don't know if it's still there. But when Spider-Man 1 came out, McFarlane was at that store that day and he signed a couple copies.
Because it's got that stamp too, right?
Yeah, it's got this weird stamp. Yeah. So I took that in and Jesse's like, "Holy cow, like I never see these, da da da." He's doing his thing, he's talking about it, he's like, "I think it's worth this much." And he's like, "Where did you get it?" I'm like, "Well, funny you say that. I got it from here for $1." So you never know. But that was kind of cool.
Because I think I have a 301 that's got that same funky signature on it.
Really?
That I found digging somewhere.
Wow, dude. Jesse told me, he's like, this thing is worth a lot more than I thought. Maybe it was worth maybe a couple $100. He's like, no, he's like, if there's a way that, we can get like Todd to say, yeah, that's exactly my signature or something. He's like, and you can send that in and get that,
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Get that appraised, for that, saying that is Todd's signature, and then have that story with it about, that's like history now. Like that's when, you find old things that are signed by Babe Ruth from when, he didn't sign his name like he signed it, or, stuff like that. That's history. He wasn't back then. He wasn't the Todd McFarlane of Spawn. He was big, but he wasn't spawned Todd McFarlane, you know? So he's like, yeah, man, this could be worth, you know, $1,000 to $2,000, if not more. Because he's like, tell somebody to go find another one. He's like, and because I've only ever seen 2 of that book. A matter of fact, there might be one on eBay right now. Look.
Yeah. I have an issue of was it 388, the life death storyline that the Peter's robot parents when they died, and it has that weird border around it. It's signed by Bagley. I picked it up from Fantastic Worlds actually, and but the signature doesn't even look like Bagley's signature. But there's a certificate with it that says it is. So
probably the same thing when he was young and he was signing his name a different way. It's funny. Usually when they get older, their signature looks like just a scribble, like, you know, and like Conor McGregor used to say Conor McGregor. Now it just says C, you know, but with McFarlane, his signature got even better. Like it got, you know, bigger and more pronounced, and he takes more time signing it. So I thought that was really cool.
I mean, it's part of marketing. That's, you know, they kind of brand their signatures. Bagley too. He does like those 2 little dots. So it's like instantly recognizable. I believe Rob Liefeld is the same. His normal signature is different than his signature. You know what I mean? That you get on the comics. It's part of branding, I guess.
Yes, your wife's really bothered by the way Brian said Puyallup.
You know, because she's actually from Puyallup. It took me about 5 years to learn to say this.
Ask her if she ever heard of the Spider's Web then.
She has never heard of that store, and she's surprised because she is like the town bookworm.
Wow, yeah. It's called the Spider's Web. I think that's what it was called. I can go look at it. It says it on the little sheet. It's crazy stuff. That's funny.
She said it 3 times. That's hilarious.
I have was it 298 or 299 signed by McFarlane. That's the big pronounced Todd McFarlane that is known for.
Yep. Yeah, that's the crazy stuff. Is and that's like our hobby is getting to that point where like there's history to it now. It isn't just, you know, about collecting the character anymore. There's the history about the creators that you want and cool little things about the creators that you want. It's not just about the characters anymore. So
there's now a legacy to the hobby that maybe wasn't there 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like a run of Marvel Tales reprint books that were covers that McFarlane did. Those are collectible now too.
Yeah, it's bonkers, man. People are once these new people in the hobby realize the history behind some of these books and they start collecting those things rather than just keys and stuff. Hopefully that we'll see that. Hopefully it'll last long enough to see that type of stuff.
You know, just like that example I gave earlier, the ASM 58. I saw someone in the chat too got excited. Yeah, if you're a Zappa fan, that's definitely a book you want to get because there's a full page of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention, and it's really cool.
I wonder if I have that issue.
I actually bought that comic from Anthony Snyder a couple of years ago when he came to our shop.
Yeah, I love that type of stuff. That type of stuff is, it's like I'm a kid again when I find out about it. Geek out.
What did Kyle just do?
I'm trying to get my color to adjust again. Looking right now.
It's like you're practicing some close hand magic.
Yeah, you look like you got a Walking Dead filter on your camera.
But no, I was just trying to say, like, you know, back to that McFarlane. Like, there's that. It doesn't look like his at all.
Yeah.
So I think we're an hour and 53 minutes in.
Yeah.
I think we've got a top 5 that we're doing today.
Yeah.
And our top 5 is a writer we wish was writing a certain book.
Or an artist.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
I threw that in the last minute because one of my picks, I was like, oh, it's an art pick, not a writer pick. But
thanks, Hive.
Considering you break the rules all the time, I'm taking a flyer on this one.
So if you'd like to start, why don't you just start, Ish?
I'll start. And actually, it's one I believe that Will and I share. We've been talking about this for a while. And just off the heels of ASM with Spencer ending his run, and I see now it's Zeb Wells taking over. My choice would definitely be Chip Zdarsky. I think he would be so perfect for ASM. The blend of humor and action, he brings heart. I think he would be great on ASM. And I don't get it. ASM should be Marvel's flagship title. And in many ways it is. It's still one of our most pulled books by far. But they should really give it the star treatment. And I think Chip, he did an amazing job in Spectacular Spider-Man, even won an Eisner Award for that. It's perfect for ASM. I think it's a no-brainer, but I don't know Marvel's watching, but not listening.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying Zdarsky gets the relationship between Peter and Spider-Man and J. Jonah Jameson perfectly.
Yeah, that was like a 3-issue arc. Was so great.
Oh yeah,
that was amazing work. Yeah, I think he would do really well. I forget the order of mine, and I guess they're not in any particular order after this. I would love to see Donny Cates on Conan the Barbarian. I'm a big Conan fan. They've been kind of switching writers every story arc or so, I guess, on the current run. But I would love to see Donny Cates just dive deep into the lore of Conan. There's so many great characters and monsters and stuff that he could have a lot of fun with and get pretty crazy. My other pick was, then this was the artist pick, because I definitely want to keep, this is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, which used to be Marvel, now IDW, still going strong, issue 280 something, so we're getting up to issue number 300, if you can believe that, Larry Hama. But I think the art at this point should be Rob Liefeld, especially after his work on Snake Eyes Dead Game, which I thought was some of his best work. I'd love to see him on the G.I. Joe. Liefeld and Hama, I think they would really kill it. I'm not the biggest fan of the current G.I. Joe art, so I think Liefeld would be a big step up. Someone mentioned in the comments Kelly Thompson doing ASM. That's kind of an interesting choice. She's been doing a lot of good work too, a lot. Shout out to Patrick in the chat. If anyone knows Patrick McCracken, we have him in the house. Right now, I can't remember my other picks. Kyle, I wrote them down for you. Do you have them?
Yeah, I got them.
Sorry.
Damn you. You had Hickman.
Well, I think I just had one left, and I realize this might be a little controversial. And I've said this many times. I'm a big James Bond fan. And Dynamite has been doing some pretty good work lately on the James Bond titles, but I'd love to see Warren Ellis take it over. He wrote a volume a couple years ago that was just amazing. I'd love to see him do some more work again, but I recognize that's a little bit of a controversial choice. Backup would be Jerry Duggan. Jerry Duggan, rear back the humor a little, some of the action. I think he would do a good job. So that's my top 5. If I was the editor-in-chief of every comic book publishing company, these are some changes I would make.
Yeah, Gary's actually cool. He's a cool dude to talk to.
Jerry Duggan?
Yeah.
Nice. He writes Savage Avengers, one of my favorite comics right now. It's just so bonkers. So much fun to read.
I talked to him when he was writing Deadpool.
Okay.
And I was having him sign some Deadpool stuff for me, and I was talking to him about Deadpool. He's a pretty cool guy. So, Brian,
so I don't know in the chat if the real Rob Liefeld is the real Rob Liefeld.
Amen.
And if you're in the Valley next Saturday, he's going to be at Fantastic World Comics.
Yeah,
so come
absolutely.
Stop by and hang
12
out.
to 4. We open at 11. You can still come to the shop and pre-buy a ticket, get your place in line.
You talked about Rob Liefeld and the Snake Eyes thing. One of the things I want to say is Rob Liefeld did a cover for, I think it was a Phoenix Fan Fest, and he did a Snake Eyes cover before he had done any Snake Eyes stuff before that, I think. And he killed it. It's one of my favorite Rob Liefeld, one of my favorite Snake Eyes things he ever did. Every time I see him in the Valley, I grab him. I'll go snag him, right? So I agree with you on the. I was going to say Liefeld for the G.I. Joe stuff. You stole my thunder, but I agree with you 1,000% on that.
Awesome.
I would love to see somebody though crazy and what like Grant Morrison writing G.I. Joe or something. You know what I mean? Like I would love to see, some real like just crazy comic mind. Garth Ennis writing G.I. Joe, something like that. That's what I would love to see. Grant Morrison, you're gonna ban that guy. Ban that guy. Ban him. You are wrong, sir. Another one. Again, I want to see Grant Morrison on anything, but I would love to see some more Punisher Garth Ennis stuff. I know he's already done it, but if I could see some more Punisher Garth Ennis stuff, and I know there's not really anything crazy Punisher going on right now, but here's
the last Punisher was Punisher Soviet by Garth Ennis, and there hasn't been anything since.
Yeah. I know, but anytime he writes Punisher, you know what I mean, it's good. So, I'm good to check it out, right? Here's one, and a little spicy hot take. I just want Donny Cates to write about Cosmic Ghost Rider again, right?
Oh yes.
I want Cosmic Ghost Rider, and you know what I want more than anything? I want to go and retcon it for Cosmic Ghost Rider to be who we really knew it was. It was never Punisher. It was Deadpool, 100%. And if it would have been dead, if people, it had to have been Deadpool, man. And everybody knew it, and they caught on. If that was Deadpool, and we got some more Cosmic Ghost Rider, that's what I want. I'm more Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Can I tell a quick story?
Yeah.
Just happened the other day in the shop. We got in the trade paperbacks for Cosmic Ghost Rider. Of course, I got a copy for myself. And I put one on a little like easel kind of thing to showcase it. Some customers came in, and one guy just stopped in front of him, and he goes, "Cosmic Ghost Rider?" He's like, "What's that?" And I was kind of at the other end of the shop, and I just yelled out, "It's Frank Castle, 3,000 years in the future. He's now Ghost Rider." And then he goes back in the past to get baby Thanos. The guy just grabs it and walks over to the register, and he's like, "All right, take my money." It was a beautiful moment because I love that book. It's just so nuts.
Good. It was so good, and it was part of like that perfect storm where it had the amazing Albuquerque variant, the Thanos variant. Everything about that book is great.
Those covers were so rock star.
Yeah. I would love to see us. I miss not having like a really good Justice League book. Like I want a really good Justice League book again.
Tinian wrote it for a while, and it was good.
Now it's Bendis.
Yeah, and I can't stand Bendis anymore.
But
I'm not a fan
wrote
of Bendis
it for
anymore.
like what, 50 issues?
Here's the problem, man. Like, there's so much. DC is just it's a wreck right now. Like, I don't even want to read DC. DC's a wreck right now. But I would love to get a Super Sons going again. I know it's back out. You guys like it
Challenge
so far.
of the Super Sons.
Yes. Yeah, and I would love to see again maybe Grant Morrison doing Super Sons. I'm a huge Grant Morrison fan. I'll take anything Grant Morrison.
How about Grant Morrison Fantastic Four? I didn't think of that because that's one of my picks I missed. I was going to say Hickman, put Hickman back on FF, but now I'm going to change that to Grant Morrison.
Yeah. Grant Morrison is probably tied for my favorite writer with him and Jeff Johns. Grant Morrison does so good on everything that he touches, in my opinion. There's very few things that he writes that isn't good. His X-Men was amazing, right? I mean, his X-Men was some of the best X-Men. So if we can get Grant Morrison writing X-Men, I'd be cool with that. Like, I was really excited for Hickman, but let's get Grant Morrison back on X-Men. Let's do that. That'd be cool. Yeah, he's doing.
Nate said Morrison is doing Batman Reptilian, which is incorrect. That's Garth Ennis.
I thought that was Ennis. Yeah, that was Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
Cool
I'd
stuff.
like to see Scott Snyder write Nightwing.
A lot of people like Nightwing. Brian,
I'm saying
you said
the
kind of
team that's
DC's
on it
all
right
crap,
now-
but there's some stuff out there that's DC's doing.
The characters are great, but DC messes up the storylines big time.
The team that's writing Nightwing right now is killing it. But it would
The whole Batman family is, I think, killing it right now. Maybe more so than Batman himself.
Snyder writing Nightwing, I just think would be awesome. Just with the in-depth Batman knowledge that he has, I just think that he could write a nice, kind of dark, nice Nightwing run. Because like Nightwing's good right now, but it's a little campy. You know what I mean? But it's good. Don't get me wrong. But it would just like a nice Scott Snyder Nightwing run would just be.
You guys reading Batman Urban Legends?
No.
I haven't seen that one.
The latest issue for us sold out instantly. Instantly sold out. I believe there's a new villain in it, but that book has kind of picked up some steam. And it doesn't hurt that it has Chip Zdarsky on it.
I agree with him.
Snyder sucks. Ugh.
Now I have to ban Patrick.
Does that mean there's room for Patrick McCracken to come back?
There is room for Pat. He might be the new moderator now. I would actually like to see Donny Cates writing Spider-Man.
Donny Cates and Spider-Man.
I think he would do a lot of cool things with Spider-Man. At least get it recharged again.
Yeah.
Because as we were saying before, Spider-Man is this flagship title that and everybody likes Spider-Man. If someone says, "Hey, I'm a Spider-Man fan," well, of course, everyone's a Spider-Man fan. But I think just to get it going and let somebody else feed off of that enthusiasm. But that what Donny Cates does is he fires it. He gets it fired up. Get it fired up. Get it rolling. Get somebody else in there to keep that momentum going. And I think that's what Spider-Man needs, because I think that's what Spider-Man's been lacking for quite a while. And and then the other thing I think I should have, Dan Slott, you know what I think he should be writing? Fucking nothing ever again.
I knew you were going to say that.
Nothing at all.
Just nothing ever again.
Put him on like IDW My Little Pony. See where he takes that shit.
Isn't that what Tony Fleece writes?
I believe so.
Sure we're not.
All right, we don't want Tony off it. All right, I'll take that back because we don't want Tony off that title.
Yeah. So, dude, you know what? No way. Here, a Snyder Capullo Nightwing.
Ooh.
That would be fucking fire.
Or Red Hood.
I could deal with that too. I could deal with that. I mean, I really could.
Yeah.
I would like or maybe Tinian. I wouldn't mind like if he was a good he might be good to write Spider-Man as well.
How about this one? I would like a Robert Kirkman Captain Atom.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. Captain Atom is one of my favorite characters that never gets used. If you guys ever get a chance, there's a series called Captain Atom Armageddon that is one of the best comic series I've ever read in my life. It's so damn good, and nobody ever knows it. Nobody knows about it because they don't know who Captain Atom is.
Man, it would be nice. I wish they would get Otley back to drawing Spider-Man. I really liked how Otley drew Spider-Man.
I would. That's probably one of the reasons I would love to see Otley draw superheroes, like a superhero team book.
Put Otley on FF.
Yeah, FF's so hard, man. FF, I think you have to have one of those crazy minds like Morrison or Hickman or.
Yeah, it's got to be out there a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only got 3 books on my list, and they're all Spider-Man related. I got Amazing would be, of course, Zdarsky writing and Patrick Gleason on the art. I want to see a spectacular Spider-Man book written by Dan Jurgens, art by Todd Knock. I think that would be really interesting to see that. And then the third book would be starring Kane Parker, but not as Scarlet Spider. Give him his own identity. Have that written by Chris Yost, because he just understands Kane so well. And Bagley on the art for that one.
Yeah, those are good picks.
Yeah.
The way you described the last one, I was like, well, maybe you should write it.
Jeff Lemire, was it Jeff Lemire that did Moon Knight?
Yes.
Jeff Lemire,
Yes.
he took over for Warren Ellis, right? On that run. I would love to get another Moon Knight run in that same vein. I mean, I love the Moon Knight, that we're getting, but I like the whole Moon Knight, the Warren Ellis, Jeff Lemire style Moon Knight.
If only they would listen to us.
Man, imagine putting like Jeff Lemire on like a Justice League or Avengers book.
Oh, that would be great. I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Lemire do a Justice League book. That'd be really cool. Do you guys like The Authority? So,
As in Superman, The Authority?
Yeah. Did you see that? Has anybody read that? I think it just came out, right?
It comes out Tuesday.
All right. So I love The Authority, man. The Authority was such a great series when it first came out. That was Mark Millar, and then Warren Ellis took over, or vice versa. I can't remember. But that series was great. I would love to see Jeff Lemire do The Authority, because he can get away with being weirder and doing the weirder stories with The Authority. So
I like it. I like everybody's picks. Those are good. So,
Sam, I'll give you an alternate one that's movie related.
All right.
If you could pick one movie and switch out the director. You say, I wish this movie had been directed by so-and-so instead.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about manga titles that I would swap authors for.
Okay.
I would love to see the author of Chainsaw Man tackle something like My Hero Academia, which is very superhero related. So you have, demon powered heroes fighting each other. It'd just be a very bloody take on My Hero Academia. Or the guys from Death Note. That's most manga is created by one person. They do the writing, the story, and the art. But Death Note has a writer and it has an artist.
It's kind of like the dude from EGS.
Yeah, that's how most manga is produced. But in the case of Death Note, they had a team, one who took over the story and one who did the art. And I would like to see them tackle a current title called Dr. Stone. Mighty Ducks, directed by Lars von Trier. I would also, for the question you presented, horror titles are kind of really. I'm starting to sink my teeth into a lot more horror, and I've been watching this Fear Street series on Netflix, and they have some good stuff there, but I feel like it's been directed by someone who is used to directing for like teenagers. So I'd like to see the director for Dr. Sleep. Gosh, what's his name?
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's that?
But he was very good. He's very good. Mike Flanagan. Sorry. Mike Flanagan, he also did The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor. He did Dr. Sleep. I'd like to see him tackle it. He has some he has this really great way of kind of like tying in trauma as like a parallel to the horror that you're suffering, or that his characters are suffering. And I really like the way he did Hill House. So I would swap Mike Flanagan for whoever's directing this Fear Street series, and hopefully get a little bit more depth to the horror. Guillermo del Toro doing monster anime. Yeah, I would say he would be really good for directing like a Junji Ito style manga adaptation. Junji Ito is really good at doing these like body dysmorphia horrors. There's this one series called Uzumaki where it's just spirals that are like disfiguring people in this town, and it's like
sounds like some David Cronenberg.
Yeah, so Junji Ito would be really good for like a Guillermo del Toro adaptation. I'd love to see something like that.
How about George Lucas doing Star Wars again?
Hey, you guys, that's basically what's going on right now. He's taking over the reins again, and thank God for it. Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars.
Is this true?
Did Mike Flanagan? What was the movie he just did recently?
Says Mike Flanagan's doing Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah. What was the movie he just recently did? Dr. Sleep? Is that what you said?
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
He did.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, so he would actually be a really good pick for Something Is Killing the Children.
He's doing Something Is Killing the Children. Yeah.
Wait, Brian. So what's this? George Lucas is coming back on board to Lucasfilm?
Okay, so here is basically what insiders have been saying about this for a little bit now, and it's starting to come to form. Basically, it's kind of like playing itself out right now. But so George Lucas has kind of been on the outside for a lot of the stuff that's happened before Mandalorian. This is all before Mandalorian, right? We had the trilogy that failed, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And Kathleen Kennedy took that over, and she screwed the pooch on all of that. And she pissed him off on a couple of things, and so he went and started working with Favreau and Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni convinced him to do a couple of these things with some of these characters, and then so they started doing Mandalorian. Well, George Lucas started realizing, like after Mandalorian season 2, like, hey, I can take this shit back over and fix all this stuff. So the word on the street is that Kathleen Kennedy is out. The last thing she's going to do is the new Indiana Jones. She's got full like can do whatever she wants with that. Supposedly she's turning it into a chick, but she's done with Star Wars. Star Wars going back to Favreau, Lucas, Filoni, and one other guy. And they're basically going to say the trilogy is all non-canon anymore. It's considered like what do they call that in Star Wars?
Superman
Legends.
Returns.
They call it Legends, yeah. So it's going to be considered that, and they're going to start doing more young Luke stuff with all this new stuff. So we're going to start seeing a lot of these characters from the George Lucas stuff, everything but the trilogy. So Han solo movie is not considered canon anymore. The 3 trilogy are not going to be considered canon
what about
anymore.
Rogue One?
I don't know about Rogue One. I didn't hear them talk about Rogue One because a lot of people love that. But here's the other thing. Guess who they're doing everything to bring back? Cara Dune. They're doing everything they can bring back. Gina Carano. Yeah. Gina Carano. Basically, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni said they're going to do whatever they can just to get her to talk to them because they feel like they wronged her, that she got wronged so bad. And here's the thing. So there was 3 shows that they were coming out with. 3 of the shows they were coming out with were supposed to be vehicles for each one of those guys, right? Filoni is the Ahsoka Chronicles stuff. Book of Boba Fett is going to be Favreau and the guy from who's the guy from Dusk Till Dawn, the director of Dusk Till Dawn, Robert Rodriguez is doing Book of Boba Fett, right? And then the third one, the third one is Rangers of the New Republic, and that's Favreau, and that was supposed to be a vehicle totally for Gina Carano. And when it all fell, like Favreau really wanted to do that, and he couldn't, and so they said that was off the list of stuff that they were going to do. And they didn't say it was killed totally, but they were putting it on the shelf. Well, now that all this stuff is going on behind the scenes, supposedly, now they're doing everything they can to pull that back out if they can get Gina to agree to come back. Yeah.
It's kind of ironic, and the chat has pointed it out. Like, didn't we barf all over Lucas in the prequels, and now we're dying for him to come back? And
yes,
it's
but
very weird. And I'm not a Lucas hater by any means, but it's just very weird, the trajectory.
Lucas should never direct his own stuff. So I don't know if you guys know this story, but when he came back to do the prequels, he got a bunch of his friends together in a room. It was like Ron Howard, Steven Spielberg, a bunch of other major big time directors, and he said, "Hey, I want to do prequels. Will you guys direct it?" And they all said no. Nobody can do Star Wars but you. And they convinced him to do it. That you can't have that. Like, he's too closely to it that he can't see from the outside. You know what I mean? Like, he can't see. So he should never direct his stuff, but he will always have say on what characters he wants them to do, bring out the characters that, he should always have his say on that if he cares about it that much, because he is Star Wars. Like, the greatest characters have been Lucas characters. I mean, even recently, you look at the and I know they say it's Filoni, but it's Filoni and Lucas. They created all those characters together, many days and times of those two guys spending, chopping it up and coming up with ideas. And they came up with all those characters that we're seeing now that we're falling in love with. So I'm cool with Lucas coming back, as long as he doesn't direct. He can help write the stories and set everything up.
I was going to say, don't write the dialogue. I'd rather have him direct and have no say in the dialogue.
Yes, yeah, like Lawrence Kasdan, and who was the guy that directed Empire?
Irving Kershner.
Yeah, like that's why Empire. I don't know to you guys, but to me, Empire is the best Star Wars ever made movie wise. Right? It might not be your favorite, but when it comes to being a good movie, the best movie out of them all, that is it. It's just so damn good, especially when it came out and they had the thing at the end, and man, it was great. But Lucas didn't direct that. That's why, and he didn't write the dialogue on that. So. They just need to make sure he doesn't direct the stuff. Maybe he can guest direct episodes.
Yeah, the thing with Robert Rodriguez on the Book of Boba Fett, he actually directed that episode of Mandalorian where Boba Fett got his armor back and everything. That was all him. So
yeah, they went to him. There's a really good story if you guys ever see it about that, where they went to him I think Favreau went to him and said, "Hey, would you do this?" And he's like, "Well, let me think about it. I have some ideas." And he went out in the backyard with his kid, put on, Star Wars helmets and busted out their own action figures to set up scenes and do that type of stuff. And he sent those videos back. This is how I want to do. And when you watch the show, like, they show the original videos that he did with this kid, and it's the exact scenes out of that Boba Fett episode, like, just perfect. And then, I mean, that's what Mandalorian is. It's a spaghetti western,
Yeah,
that's
he's such a great choice.
Yeah.
The dude is so creative and imaginative and so do-it-yourself, too. A real filmmaker. See what you want about his actual movies. Because he does genre movies and not for everyone, but
directs,
he writes, edits it,
music,
mixes the sound. Yeah.
Back to the chat was talking about Princess Bride and directing Princess Bride. Did you guys see
who was going to direct Princess Bride?
Did you see McFarlane's coming out with Princess Bride toys? Mm-hmm. Tell me that, dude. I'm pre-ordering. End of story.
You really love Inigo Montoya's ass there, huh?
It's badass.
That's how you display it too. That's the side that's visible.
Totally that's how I'm going to display it. I am Inigo Montoya, and this is my ass. But I don't know. I like the. I don't know why he fucking wanted to show off some buttocks.
Yeah, this is a little bit sus. We gotta get a less sus profile here.
But I mean, I think it's cool that McFarlane's coming out with some toys.
There's some real nostalgia for that movie, huh?
I love it. I've got the book. I mean,
infinitely quotable,
forever,
great
inconceivable.
characters. Yeah,
great stories behind it. I mean,
man, whatever happened to Rob Reiner? He directed like a bunch of movies in a row that were all big hits, and then he just fell off the cliff.
Yeah, I don't know. we'll do a little profile, Rob Reiner profile.
I'm ordering, and what I'll do is I hope they with McFarlane the same thing as the Spawn boxes. I hope they do fingerprintless boxes for these Princess Bride toys, so that when I'm unboxing them, I could say thank you once again, Todd, for giving us fingerprintless boxes.
And you could also kill someone with the box and get away with it.
And because no fingerprints.
Yeah, they're like, we found a dead body in a Princess Bride box and no other clues.
Yes, I did watch that.
What is this?
Gunpowder Milkshake is girls with guns doing
perfect, sold,
doing deadly things.
I'm sold. Okay. So, now that we got that out of the way, Loki talk. What did everybody think about the last episode of Loki?
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about the last episode of Loki.
Well, go ahead, Sam. Start. You haven't been very talkative this episode. It's time to...
I've been waiting for this moment. This magic moment.
Unleash the beast.
All right, so I have been reserving judgment on Loki for this very last episode because I've liked what I've seen, a lot of it, and I've been saying, okay, well, what is it going to lead up to? What are we leading up to? And Brian, you and I have had this debate about who's going to be the big bad, and as I'm watching it unfold, I was like, okay, I know what's happening right now. Did you guys ever see 10 Cloverfield Lane? John Goodman, and he lives in this bunker. He kidnaps this gal, and you're asking these questions through the movie. The first act, you're like, is John Goodman's character totally crazy? And then in the second act, you're like, okay, are they under attack by aliens? And then in the third act, you're like, okay, what if it's both? What if it's both John Goodman's crazy and it's aliens? So Brian and I, we've been debating, is it Kang or is it a Loki? Who's going to be the big bad? Well, what if it's both, right? And I thought that was a spectacular resolution to it all. But it does go a lot deeper. So the Jonathan Majors is going to be playing Kang, and he was the guy who played He Who Remains, right? And so this is essentially the Kang Prime iteration played by Jonathan Majors. And he had this kind of manic affect to him in his character, which I thought was really great. It's like, what would somebody who has lived by themselves for eons, what would they be like? And they'd probably be a little loopy from all the solitude and all the omnipotence, right? And but it went so much deeper because he was basically turning into this kind of, it turned into this really Adam and Eve allegory. You know, he chomps on the apple. You've got Sylvie, who's basically created from Loki's rib, essentially. She betrays him with a kiss. Sends him out of the garden. It's very Adam and Eve, and then even the sacred timeline starts to look like a tree as it starts to fragment and fractalize over the final moments in that space. And then it was just there was a lot of depth going on in that scene. And to say that Kang is the big bad, or he who remains is the big bad, I think is fair. But you also have to look at Sylvie was really the big bad all along, and it was just shaping up this kind of tension between her thirst for vengeance and Loki's quest to become a better person, a better god of mischief, maybe. And so it's just I really enjoyed the tension that they set up, and it really did end up being Loki and Kang as the big bads. So I really enjoyed it.
I was really bummed out that when I thought about it after the episode, I was really bummed out how it played out with Sylvie being the one to kill Kang. I thought that was completely ass backwards. I don't care about Sylvie. You know what I mean? Like she's a character who is 2 episodes new to me. I don't really have that much into her. If it would have been the opposite, where Tom Hiddleston would have killed him, I would have cared more about who Kang is. I felt like, that type of thing, and I would have felt better about how it ended. I'd been like, well, that's Loki's, that's in the end, he always screws himself and he just can't take that chance. And I would see better off if Loki was the person to kill Kang rather than Sylvie, right? Because I just don't care about Sylvie that much. So it just felt really weird to have such a minor character be the reason that is gonna cause this guy to become the next big bad for phase 4. He's gonna be the main antagonist for all these movies coming up, and we had a character who I don't care about be the reason that it happened. You know what I mean? Like, they should have flipped that somehow to make Tom Hiddleston the one who killed him. I also was really surprised because I agree with how you were. A lot of people have took along this thought process that, they're not going to bring in Kang because you don't know who Kang is. They didn't even give any backstory to Kang on any of the episodes until, 13, 15 minutes towards the end of the episode. I loved it because I know who Kang is. I'm a comic book guy. Sam, you're a perfect example of 90% of the people who are watching the show don't know comic books. So they don't know Kang. Yeah, I know that that if it's Jonathan Majors, it's either going to be Kang, Immortus, He Who Remains, Rama Tut, and it can all those characters can be Jonathan Majors, right? So I knew that going in. So I was excited for it. But if I was just somebody watching who didn't wasn't really into it enough to go look on the internet and see what's coming next, and I just watch that whole episode, I'd be like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? I don't care about him.
It's eccentric
guy
that's just this kind of bopping around.
Yeah, yes. He's the wizard from Wizard of Oz,
He's Trelane from Star Trek.
Yeah.
With the same affectations.
The other thing is, I will say this: I really love Jonathan Majors. Boy, with such short time that he had, did he knock it out of the park? Mm-hmm. He did such a good job. He makes that character likable, which is what you need to do for Kang. It's something that they did with Thanos, which I really liked. Where even though you knew what Thanos was doing is wrong, you still kind of felt like he was doing it for a good reason. And same with Kang, right? The other cool things, I like how they kind of explain the timeline a little bit more, how Kang took the timeline and made it into a circle, and that's how he fixed everything, and how he was able to do everything, and where he was in the middle of that circle, and you could see the timeline and the circle around it. I thought that was really cool. I thought that it was really cool that you started seeing all the timeline splinter, and just a week before we got our what if, preview. And now, it's not like we can say, oh, we were right. We all knew this, but everything is about the multiverse now, full on. Like everything is about the multiverse. We're going to see things and they just fixed all their problems. Like Marvel just fixed all their problems. Here we got, let's bring in the mutants. We can fix all the Spider-Man crap, right? Spider-Man being in these different worlds. We can bring back characters maybe who died that we want to bring back. Killmonger. We all want Killmonger to come back. Here's their perfect example
I don't think they even need the multiverse for that. They just need the red dust powder stuff.
Well, what I'm getting at is like this makes it easy.
Yeah,
they don't
I
have
get your
to
point.
work hard. Yeah. So now we can just get stories about the characters, not stories about bringing in the characters.
That makes me nervous about the FF. That they're just going to throw the FF at us from some multiverse.
I think they can still. Well, here's the thing: they don't have to. They can still say that, oh, these characters are from our timeline. We just didn't know about them yet. You know.
That's even.
Listen. I get you. My thing with the FF is at this point I've lost all care for the FF other than Doom. And here's the other thing you got to remember.
That makes me sad to hear.
Yeah, if there wasn't Doom, there'd be no Kang. Doom is a big part of Kang. Doom
FF16.
Yep.
I'm correct.
Yep. And so, that's where Kang got his idea to do he so appreciated Doom. And, that's why he wears the suit that he wears because of Doom. Same with the Silver Centurion. That's, like all these things with Kang, a lot of things in the world of Kang harken back to Doom. So I would love to see them bring out Doom before they bring out Reed Richards and Sue and those. Let's make Doom be something. Just please don't screw up Doom again. That's all I care about. Like they can bring back the FF as many times as they want, but you can't do that with a villain. You can't screw up a villain over and over and over and over and expect us to care about him.
Especially someone like Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
The prototype of villains.
Yeah.
So out of all the alternate Earths and everything, do you think they're only gonna focus on a few of them then?
Oh no, we're getting a ton of them, dude.
There's gonna be so many.
Because there are a ton of them.
Yeah, we're getting a ton. So there's so many different versions of Kang, and we're gonna I wouldn't be surprised if we get 50 different versions of Kang over the next Loki season 2, Ant-Man Quantumania, Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home. I think that we get 50 different versions of Kang, right? Some of them could be good, some of them could be bad. Some of them are going to be robots, some of them are going to be Egyptian, some of them are going to be, Silver Centurion. Like we're getting all those characters and we're getting new characters.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be the new Where's Waldo of the MCU.
Yeah. And here's the other crazy thing. So on the same day that hit, the spec community, there's these you probably know who it is. Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy, Sam? You ever heard of Charlie Murphy?
Yeah, I've heard of Charlie Murphy.
Okay, so Charlie Murphy dropped some information. He said that there's been news that's coming from Marvel inside of Disney that there are 7 new projects coming from Marvel that they haven't even announced, that people aren't even talking, that don't include I think they said America Chavez and who's the deaf girl, Echo, right? Was that the 2? Anyways, there's 7 new projects that are coming that can include anything from Young Avengers, Ghost Rider, X-Men, Fantastic Four. We're getting 7 new Disney Plus series, not just movies, 7 new Disney Plus series from Marvel's on top of what's already been announced. So that just tells me that even more multiverse stuff. One of the Young Avengers is a version of Kang. They're definitely going to bring that kid into the loop. That's the only kid we don't have.
Brian, what's the number 1 Kang book right now?
Oh man, Avengers 8 is crazy, yeah. Dude. We were looking at Avengers 8 on Tales from the Flipside or Hot 10 the other night because it was number 1. There was 4 Kang books, I believe, on the Hot 10 last night, and Avengers 8 was number 1. Avengers 8 number one was selling for a ridiculous amount of money. Like I think like a 9.2 sold for like $8,000 or something crazy. Chat, let me know if you guys remember what the race in Kang.
McCracken in the chat just caught himself Avengers 8.
Really nice. Well, think about this. So for what the Avengers 8 is selling for, we went and looked, and Stein brought up a great point. He said, how is this selling for this much? When you go look at Iron Man 55, which is a major key, it's got a first appearance of Thanos and Drax, right? Yep. Two major characters. And the price of Avengers 8 compared to a Thanos or Iron Man 55 is like 5 times or more. Like you can get a 6.0 or 7.0 Iron Man 55 right now for $700. That's crazy. You know, that same thing for the Kang book is probably a couple grand. You know, it's bonkers. Yeah, 9.2 of the Kang book went for $8,000. Let's see what a 9.2 of Iron Man 55 right now is selling for. This is crazy.
Yeah, while you're checking that out, I do want to push back a little bit on what you said about the show. So you said you didn't care about Sylvie, but I mean that's kind of what the show was all about, was getting us to care about Sylvie as the Loki variant, right? That's what they were trying to do. That all of episode 3 was intended to not just make Loki fall in love with her, but us too as the audience, right?
Yeah.
And you said, you know, Loki's the character we've been following all this time, but we've also seen Loki kind of, he takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right?
Yep.
But he's still moving in the certain direction. And so this was kind of like his finally breaking through that bad guy frame, right?
Yeah.
And we saw him do that in Thor Ragnarok too, but then he was immediately killed in Infinity War. And so this was like his redemption arc, right? We finally get that complete redemption where he sees all the progress that he made leading up to his death, and then he just kind of absorbs that progress in the series. So he's caught up to where we are, which is Loki finally turned over a new leaf, and now he can survive being a good guy.
Actually, this is wrong, Matt. The events of Loki are not what bring out the Eternals. They actually said that the Eternals are one of the groups that have been here the whole time, that are not what, from what I've heard. I just recently watched a video on that exact same thing. The guy mentioned that the Eternals are one of the groups that have been here on the timeline the whole time. As a matter of fact, Thanos is part of the Eternals. He was a part of the Eternals. So
Thanos is an Eternal, yeah.
Yeah. So, but here's the crazy thing. All right, so I think we said a 9.2 went for $8,000 of Avengers. Here's a 9.2 sold July 8th. Best offer accepted for $2,400, so probably less than that. So that's crazy. And I get it that the only reason that it's that price right now is because Kang is hot. I get it. But it's still bonkers to me that a book that like that, there's such a disparity. And I get it. Our hobby is about what is hot today. You know, back when we were kids and collecting, it was what was hot month to month. You know, Wizard kind of propelled that with their hot 10 and stuff. But now it's not even week to week. It's what is hot day to day, you know, based on all this crazy stuff. I love what Marvel is doing. I think that, you know, they have created a universe that is just about perfect, you know, for what we want as fans. They're giving us what we want. We want more characters. We want more stories. We want all that stuff, and they're giving it to us. They're listening. Just like, you know, we were talking with Tony earlier. Listen to the fans. This is what we want. We want to see these type of stories. You know, we're getting Charlie Cox in No Way Home. You know, we want that. We want Charlie Cox Daredevil. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just glad that they're listening to us. And that being said, that's kind of spilling over on the Star Wars side too. We talk a lot about the Star Wars stuff. You know, they're finally listening. They're listening to what the fans want, which is cool.
Well, you know, everyone demanded a Black Widow movie.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I was being sarcastic.
Well, no, they did though early on.
That's true.
They did early on. You remember they were supposed to do the Black Widow movie like 10 years ago.
Okay.
You know, So they
It's crazy.
really
We were
wanted
talking about Marvel movies 10 years ago. And to
Yeah.
think it's been, what are we, 22 years in now on the MCU?
Oh man.
I mean, that's
22
longer
years.
than some of our customers are old at the shop, To think like you were born post Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man
Yeah.
was 2008.
Post Iron
2008? Okay, I thought it was 2009. You're right.
Wow, that's bonkers.
Came out the same year as Dark Knight.
That's bonkers.
Let's see. So, what Earths do you think they're actually going to try to include then?
What I've heard is that there's always been this talk that the MCU that we see on the screen is Earth 1.99999 or something like that, I believe is what they call it. But I've actually heard that, and
It's
this is just rumors.
Earth
that-
99999.
Okay. So what I've heard is that they're really trying to set it up to where this Earth is the 616. What we're seeing is the 616.
I've always assumed it was.
Yeah, they messed up years ago and came out and said no, that's different.
Iron Man, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Earth 1999999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now there's pushback to actually just try and make this. Let's call this the 616 because that's what it is.
Yeah, they just need to try to figure out how to include the Earth 65 because that would be Edge of Spider-Verse 2.
Oh. Well, here's the thing. What they're basically doing, in my opinion, and this opinion has been swayed and created by people that are here in the community. People who in the community that are in the chat right now are probably swayed this opinion. I mean, it's not like I came up with it or anybody that I know came up with it, but they're basically trying to set up the whole Secret Wars. After the Ultimate Avengers Secret Wars type thing, not Secret Wars from when we were a kid, but the Secret Wars from a couple years ago.
Doom for that.
Yeah, so
you can't do Secret Wars without Doom. Come on.
Yeah, and that's how they're going to fix this all. Is they're going to do a Secret Wars type event where they fix it all again. Whether that's the case, that's way down the line. I mean, that's probably another 10 years away or 5+ years away more.
Will we ever see the Beyonder?
And I don't think like we've seen it in comics, but they'll use that character, they'll do some type of amalgamation. They're going to be doing that amalgamation thing a lot, I think, which I'm cool with. Yeah. Cool with.
Yeah. The MCU kind of has to be its own thing to a certain extent while borrowing from comics and stuff we want to see, but it's still got to be its own thing.
Yeah. Hive Comics, Earth, that 1610 series was amazing. Remember that series? Was that Marvel that did the 1610 series where like all the characters were like back in the 1600s? You guys remember that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, it was good with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was a major character in it. It was really good. I think that was Neil Gaiman that might have written that.
I think we have some of those trade paperbacks in the shop. Actually.
Oh man, so good, so good. Like Elseworlds type stuff that really took
like Marvel's version of Gotham by Gaslight or something.
Yeah, 1620. Oh man, that was so good, and it went. Yep, Neil Gaiman, Haven for Heroes. Thank you.
The Earth 1610 is Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah. Cool stuff. I love that type of stuff, and it's there's no doubt we're gonna see some characters coming soon that we've all wanted to see. Blue Marvel, Adam the Blue Marvel. I don't see why we're not gonna see that happen. They're trying to build that whole team, and that was a great run, that Avengers run, Ultimate Avengers run, or whatever, with America Chavez and Monica Rambeau and those type of characters. So good stuff.
So what do you think this actually does for Marvel now?
Oh, it fixes things. It opens it up.
So not only does it fix it, but it just expands it so they can just they can just do whatever they want now.
I'll tell you what it does. it puts DC in the dust. The only way DC has any chance to gain any ground on them is by doing like Justice League Dark type stuff on HBO Max. Let's do a Deadman series. Let's do a Madam, Xanadu. What's her name? What's the chick that they just announced? Is it Madam Xanadu?
Zatanna?
No, Zatanna. They need a Zatanna one.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one they just announced that they're doing a series of? Chat will let us know if they do series based on each one of those characters and build up those characters, and then do the Dark Justice League series type stuff, which DC should have done. We shouldn't have got a Justice League series that's quick. They didn't build any of those characters up. Yeah, Xanadu, Madam Xanadu, was that her name? I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. And definitely Miles is coming. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
Xanadu, also my wife's favorite movie.
Xanadu. That movie was so cheesy, man. So cheesy. Good stuff. She even says Ish knows all about Xanadu. That's fun.
Well, do you guys have anything else? You know what? Before everybody, you know what? We've got a good number of people in the chat. Wow, I got a bunch of you guys here, and we have a bunch of you here. We love you guys. You guys are awesome. If you guys have any segments or any show ideas you would like us to cover or talk about, reach out and let us know.
Yeah. Yep.
We would love to do stuff that's we have probably the Flipside channel probably has the best chat listeners and people that hang out with us every week, probably on YouTube.
Yeah.
And probably some of the greatest comic minds, I would say, on the planet are hanging out with us every week.
I'll be honest, man.
We may have had Rob Liefeld in the chat earlier.
I want to start changing that. I don't even like calling you guys listeners or viewers. That's why I like you guys. You guys will hear me. I'll say either community or friends, because that's what you guys are. Exactly what Kyle said. Like there are some savages that are hanging out with us on live shows all the time. That's some of the best comic book minds, whether it's history of comics, flippers, some of the best flippers in the business, some of the best businessmen in the business. And we want to make you guys happy and enjoy what you guys are watching. So if there's anything that you guys would like us to talk about or bring up, even during the show, I would love to get to a point where at some point, there's 30 minutes in the Saturday show where we open it up to the chat to say, hey, you guys got any questions or anything you want us to hit on? We're going to do our best to try to answer, those type of things and do those, give you guys what you guys want. So, good call, Kyle.
Reach out to. You guys can find me on Instagram. Modern Comic Mayhem is that's me. I'm the one who answers everything on there. So if you guys find me on there, shout out, give me ideas. I'll run them past Comic Book Jesus, and we'll make them, into fruition. It's awesome. We love you guys. So. Chad in the chat has already found a new best friend.
What's up? Hey, McCracken said he got an Avengers 8 3.5. What was it for? $175.
Wow.
That's a steal. That's how you invest your money, folks.
How long ago did he get it?
He said it was a year ago.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Great job.
But had the foresight.
Yeah.
To know that they're eventually, as soon as the rumors started, there's going to be Kang. I know he jumped all over that.
Well, here's the other thing. You got to remember, this channel is a channel built by savages who know a lot about comics, whether it's guys that work in comic book shops or have worked in comic book shops their whole life, or guys who are, just super historians when it comes to creators' work or, characters. And then, of course, you guys know we've got the best speculators and flippers in the game, bar none. And, take that information, use that information. We say all the time on the Hot 10, if you guys got some of these, go make some money. There's very few books that we talk about on the Hot 10 that continue that upward trajectory. If you have some of these, put these ones on, sell these ones now if you want to make some money now. So this is a good channel to take the advice of some of these guys. Experts can be wrong, but they're still experts. So good stuff. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Yeah, it was a fun show. I want to do a shout out to EGS and Tony for coming on. That was awesome. It looks like Hive had a lot more fun in the chat than they did on the show. But I love when the Hive guys come on. Jonathan's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to James. James,
Yes.
James. I think it was James or Jonathan that hit me up. I think it was Jonathan, maybe, that hit me up that said he thought that the EGS guy sounds like this is a guy that needs some love from the community, a little bit of love from the community. So, yeah, again, building a great community around here, whether it's Flipside guys or Mighty Mel V channel or Hive Comics. There's a big, huge community that's growing in the comics content creator forum, and we're just glad to be a part of it. All right, you ready to call it a night, sir?
Can I do one last shout out? We got Rob Liefeld coming to Scottsdale, Arizona next Saturday, the 24th, at Fantastic Worlds Comics, 12 to 4. So that's Scottsdale, Arizona. Come see Rob Liefeld, and this is the 30th anniversary tour of Deadpool and X-Force. So it's a nice event for Rob.
Not bad, not bad. Well, I'll be honest. I would love to. I'm gonna do my best to get out there. I'm bummed I missed the Jerry Conway one.
I think I'm gonna make it a point to come out.
You guys
I'm
all
gonna do my
missed the
best.
Jerry Conway one. I'm calling you out here and now.
I know. I told Kyle, I was like, man, I feel shitty about missing that one. I should have been there just to even talk to the dude, just to chat it up with him. So, listen, good stuff. If any of you guys are in the Arizona vicinity within a couple hours of Phoenix or Scottsdale, do it your best to go out and get some signed stuff by Rob Liefeld and get some great pictures. I saw some great pictures coming out, something he did recently in Florida, I think. Just lots of cool pictures coming from the fans out there. So always a good time when that guy's around.
If you go to his website, robliefeldcreations.com, you can get a VIP package. And it's actually a really good deal. You save $60 on some really cool signed comics. So you can get that or prepay that VIP package, and then you come to the event. You make it happen. It includes a free photo op.
And if you guys have any ideas for the drinking game, hit me up.
Yeah.
Because
right.
it would be awesome. So, Matt, you're not going to ask him to sign your Blocked by Liefeld shirt. I'm calling you out. I'm calling your card,
be the last in line so he doesn't walk out on us.
Yeah. Or I love it. A wrong expert would be a leer, or a wrong expert would be a better seller or a better speller. One of the two.
I leer you, good sir.
Much love, everybody.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for coming out. We love you.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a good show. Have a good night.